Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Thom Raley. The scenario is Tears of the Clown. It was written by Paul Mazumdar, and it's available from Drive-Thru RPG. Our game master is Nathan Decker, and this is a one-shot. So without any further delay, let's begin our journey into the darkness. Nathan?
All right, thank you. The game will start the morning after a late night for the group of you. You are all friends of Professor Cartwright, and you often meet and take up a long table at Christ College in Cambridge. And last night was one of these meetups where you discussed a variety of topics, and the conversation was particularly thrilling. And you said, rather than go too late in the night, let's meet up the next day and continue the conversation. However, the next day, the five of you have met in the professor's offices, but your friend, Giles, who was there the previous night, has not shown himself. Perhaps not too worrying, but it is getting later and later into the morning as you are covering your discussions. So let's go around and do a quick introduction of people. Let's start with Eleazar.
I'm Eleazar Phillips. I was a missionary in Africa. I've returned mostly because my health. I had a rather nasty bout with malaria, and for my health's sake, I came back. I continue to try to spread the word of Christ, but in amongst the those who need it, let's say that. I am a staunch proponent of any kind of prejudice against those who are not English, which seems to be a horrible trend that's been going around. The people in Africa are treated very badly, and that needs to stop. And I don't know where Giles is.
Excellent. We'll go over to Wilson Morris.
So I am Wilson Morris. I'm an older man in his mid-50s. I am a steam engineer for the local railway, and I'm just so tired. I'm tired of all this advancing technology. I am tired of the creation of automobiles, which might put me out of a job. It's been a long couple of years.
Excellent. Across from him, Detective Felix Perry.
Yeah, I'm Felix Perry. I'm a local detective. Joined the police force to, become the next Sherlock Holmes, if I could. But instead of world-changing crimes, I got drunken and disorderly students. And things turned out pretty boring. I'm in my early 30s, and I have a young daughter that I take care of together with my housekeeper.
Excellent. Over in the other corner, Martin De Silva.
Yes, I very much enjoyed studying with Professor Cartwright when I was at Cambridge myself. I am also a voracious reader, in part because I am trying to understand the peculiar gifts that I was given. The comical ruminations of the Blavatskys of the world can't explain how it is possible for some of us to know what cannot be known and see what cannot be seen.
Excellent. And rounding it out, the owner of said office, Professor Arthur Cartwright.
Hello, I'm a bit older fellow. I'm in my early 60s at this point, but quite well traveled, quite well studied. my area of expertise is zoology, and well, after Darwin went and blew the whole field wide open, I've been making multiple excursions to Her Majesty's many colonies abroad, particularly India, to study to get more information about the evolution of flora and fauna all over the empire. So
as you can
times.
imagine, yes, all of you have a lot of interesting things to talk about, whether it's travels, new technology. There's quite a bit, but yes, as the morning goes on, you can't help but notice Giles, your bookseller friend, continues to not be present until there is a knock on the professor's door.
Do come in.
And you see, letting himself in is a man you know is Professor Henry Standing. He is a professor of anthropology at the college. He is a kind of gaunt man, and he is quickly followed by a woman you recognize as Annie Fawcett, Giles' wife. And the professor goes, I'm sorry, I found her in my office. It seems that when we did the switch, she was looking for you all here. I must be back to my studies, but Annie is very concerned about Giles, you said? Yes, Giles. I'll leave you to it. It's good to see you, Cartwright. Good to see you.
Yes, it's excellent to see you, my good man. We'll have to catch up sometime.
That would be wonderful. Yes, I have some interesting thoughts about some digs we've been seeing, some old religions kind of cropping up. Very, very interesting stuff.
I'd love to hear about it, but
another time. He kind of tips his hat, such as it is, and bows out, and Annie walks in. I'm glad I found you. Is Giles here?
No, we've actually we've been expecting him for some time. My sincerest apologies if you're looking for him too. We ourselves are wondering where he is.
We were with him last night, had quite a conversation. We'd all agreed to meet here this morning, but he hasn't shown up.
Yes, I knew he was coming to talk with you and he would stay late, but he didn't come home at all last night.
No. That's rather odd.
How quite curious.
Did he say that he wanted to undertake anything in the evening?
No, he was just coming here, and I assumed he would go straight home. We just live down Abbey Road, the other side of the Commons. I would imagine he doesn't have a lot of places to stop on the way home.
What do we know about Giles? Sorry.
Go ahead, Detective.
What's that?
So, what do we know about Giles? Is he
pretty if you'll forgive the pun, by the book? Yes, a bookseller that is quite quiet. You don't know him as a particularly rowdy individual, so not the kind that would go out drinking after the kind of conversation you had. But you do know he is a very possessed of the mind that he will go where he wants to go. He likes, if he knew that there was a book in a monastery that he wanted to get a hold of, there's a decent chance he'd just walk right in and see about getting it. Sidewalks were more of a suggestion to Giles. Traffic would watch out for him rather than the other way.
Was there anything in last night's conversation that might have set him off on some goose chase?
You're thinking back, nothing in particular. He seemed like he was just interested and wished to continue the next day.
He seemed in quite a pleasant mood.
Yes.
So what could have attracted his attention walking? Do you suppose he walked across the fairgrounds, the commons?
He might have, but they've got the Midsummer Fair there.
Well, perhaps he was curious and went. Was the fair in functioning? Is it going on right now, or
it usually closes around 8. Yeah, it's been going on for the last few days. We actually went not too long ago to see it together, but
Was there anything in particular you saw that he was curious about?
trying to think. We saw obviously like the livestock and whatnot. We saw some of those new steam powered machines. She kind of nods towards Wilson as she says that. Um, Shows here and there as he attempted some of those games, but was not terribly successful. I don't think they're quite fair.
Keeper, was there anything last night that he would have said, like, I noticed that woman with the snake, or something like that we might
Yeah, you're
remember.
thinking back. He did mention the fairground. He did talk about it a bit. He was interested in some of the new machinery, that sort of thing. That's really coming up. This is after the Ferris wheel just got displayed in Chicago, so steam powered things are kind of coming into their own. So it's very brand new and exciting at this point.
And have any of us visited the fair yet?
We'll say no.
Okay.
No.
Well, perhaps we'll go and take a look at the fair and see if there's anything that might have attracted us. Perhaps got in a conversation with some of the carnies and lost track of time.
Yes, we'll check on Giles and make sure he hasn't run into any unscrupulous types.
Thank you. I just worry. He's so quiet. He's not the kind that would get into trouble.
No, we agree. Yeah.
Or maybe trouble found him.
Well, yeah.
Felix, is there someone you should talk to at the station, perhaps, and make it known that Giles hasn't even been missing for 12 hours yet? So I don't suppose there's any formal.
I mean, might be a bit early for that. If we have any suspicion, despite him being late or sleeping outside on the bench, we need to contact the constabulary. But apart from that, I think if we just have a look around.
Perhaps we should check to see, God forbid, that he's been injured and is in hospital or something. He's not that far from his own home. Why would he sleep on a bench? He would just go home.
Well, we will see about that.
Only
Leave
one
it to
way
us,
to find
my
out.
dear. Leave it to us. We'll find him.
Thank you. I'll return home then, and do let me know if you find him.
Absolutely.
She thanks you and heads out the door.
Say your prayers, my dear.
Of course.
I do fear he's ran into some kind of miscreant or ruffian.
Well, that's the very, I was going to say the best scenario. I doubt seriously that he's gotten into any mischief. He doesn't seem like the philandering type.
No,
Yeah,
not at
so
all.
maybe
He does get
he's
easily distracted.
maybe
Sorry,
he's run
Chris.
into a few of your still operating people in your old line of work, Mr. Phillips.
You shouldn't try to insult a person unless you've got something to say. You fell rather short there on your insult. My guess is that he may have run across, as you say, a ruffian.
I very much fear that he fell afoul of a cut purse and he'll be found in some shrubberies, but I wasn't going to say that in front of the widow.
No, of course not. And you know that those carnies are not exactly the most trustworthy people, gypsies and things like that.
And you do know there is a river nearby, as you're kind of talking about dumping bodies. It would not be the first time that a body was found in the nearby river.
Perhaps we should look around for evidence. Isn't that your thing, Perry?
Well, before we look for the evidence of a murder, we need to confirm that somebody was murdered first. But yeah, that certainly seems to fall into my category.
I confirm that somebody's been murdered. A body, I suppose.
Let's just finish this up quickly so we can be back for tea.
All right. Evolution is nonsense. Stick to the Bible.
Is that something that Eleazar says every time?
I have 2,000 years of scholarly background. This upstart Darwin comes along and decides that monkeys and people and turtles and iguanas. Please.
You have 4,000 years of biblical history and 4 million years old fossils that can't explain it.
I wasn't counting the Jewish part.
As the group argues, yes. Where are you heading? Yeah.
We must make our way into the commons.
We'll retrace his steps.
But gentlemen, why do we walk anywhere? We'll just let Eleazar here pray to his god, and he'll tell us exactly where old Giles has gone.
I never stopped praying to my god, my dear Arthur Cartwright. And you should be too. Nevertheless, God gave us eyes and a reasoning mind. Let's use them.
Right.
Let's get this over with.
Wilson says defeatedly. As the group heads out, you can see Midsummer Common has these tents set up that kind of dominate the area. You can see there is grass around, but it has been very much walked down, trampled in certain paths. You can see that the fair, there's kind of a main concourse that has various attractions and whatnot. And then a little bit north, closer to the water, you see a lot of those traveling wagons where they would house the people in the shows and kind of do that. And there are a variety of different traveling groups here. They all have their own banners and tent styles. There's not really one specific traveling group. They all kind of come together for this fair. And you're still in the morning, so it's fairly quiet. You would know that things don't typically get started here until the afternoon. And they're usually done around 8.
Keeper, what sort of fellow, other than a quiet bookseller, is Giles? Is he 20, 30, 50, tall, short?
He is a kind of a taller fella, and he is on the young side for the group. That perhaps is part of why he's so bullheaded and how he goes about things. He's, we'll say, about 28. So,
is he handsome?
Yeah, he's not bad looking.
So there might be someone.
How would we describe his relationship with his wife?
Loving. Like, you would not think
proper,
at least, you wouldn't think that. Maybe that's what you're thinking now, but it wouldn't have been your first thought.
It's all the more reason to fear a cut purse, I'm afraid. Although with all these people around, it seems like it would be an unusually safe time to cross the commons. People, who sleep in caravans who would hear a cry out and so on.
What time did we finish last night?
Probably about 11 or so.
So, well, then they would have all been gone. It would have been very nearly deserted out here at that time.
Yes.
Except for the ones,
right, who are sleeping in there. And, I would think someone in a canvas wagon would hear a cry for help more than someone who in a home that rings the common. These sorts of festivities aren't particularly my cup of tea. How are they organized? Is there some sort of ringleader or
each individual troop would have their own kind of barker out front bringing people in. So you would have, in the afternoon, they're obviously not doing it now, but you would have some competition among them to say, hey, come see, the
Mhm.
8 foot tall man. He's only here. And people would go maybe see that. Maybe they'd go see something else. And you have quite a number of these things. And you see there's a steam powered thing a little bit back that appears to be one of those where you lift in the little seats and then it just kind of spins you around. Yes, looks quite dangerous, especially since it's so new and yes, sketchy.
That's the business. Well, are there is there a schedule of events posted somewhere?
Yes, there would be. Yeah, each tent would kind of have its own listing of things to do. You can see there's like a Pee-wee circus that has shows at 4:30, 7:30. You see there's a showground for farm animals that they're just kind of standing around. That wouldn't have so much of a thing, but there are a few. The Fairground Maximus has some shows of they look a bit more, what's the word? Like lurid kind of affairs, like Witness the death-defying escape, that sort of thing.
But there isn't anything publicly listed as being open after 8 p.m.?
No. Nope. They
That's the
close
problem.
down, yes. And yeah, you do see, because Felix, you were kind of talking about people, you do see there's a couple carnies that are moving things, repairing signs maybe that fell over. There's a clown carrying something kind of near the back of the lot. There's general movement around the place.
As a local myself, do I spot anybody that I recognize who works at these fairs annually?
No, they're mostly people from out of town.
Okay.
Shall we walk along the path, assuming, perhaps ironically, that Giles followed the path, but walk along the path and see which of their tents or wagons are closest to there, and ask them if they've seen or heard anything in the night.
And
Or
if they have
somebody calling
something
out.
that might have caught his interest.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, and asking around, you do find a few people that are willing to talk. They were up that late. Go ahead and roll luck.
48 out of 55, so I pass.
Okay, yeah. You describe Giles maybe kind of a taller guy, young, pretty good looking, and there is a it looks like one of the magician's assistant types there. And she kind of goes, yes, I saw someone like that last night. It was quite late though, but he was just walking by.
Walking home, you didn't hear anyone
Yeah.
call out or cry out at any point?
I don't think so. No, there was no cries of pain.
You see, my dear, he never arrived home, and we're afraid that he might have been waylaid by a cutpurse or something like that. We were just wondering if maybe you heard a noise.
Oh, I hadn't. And she looks a little concerned as you're saying, he's disappeared.
Where did you see him walking?
And she points really down the main course. You see it's kind of between that Pee-wee's I forgot the name of it.
Oh, so he came through the
yes, he
fair
came
itself.
through. Yes.
I see.
Yes, he was between the Pee-wee's Circus and the Fairground Maximus, I believe.
Well, thank you, my dear.
Yes, of course. And she's yes, I should probably tell you, come see the great Terry. I don't know. Come see the show tonight.
The magician. That should be
Yes.
right up your alley, Martin.
There are different levels, of course, of mystery and magic in the world.
Oh, yes.
All right. Well, the Pee-wee thing might be open earlier in case they saw something.
Yep, you can see there are, that's a good point. You do see there's a few people out feeding some animals. You do see there's a lion in a cage, and then some other ones that are perhaps to our current sensibilities not too impressive, but at the time perhaps interesting.
Yes, poor flea-bitten lion in a cage, trucking around on a steam train.
Yeah, there's a great big man with a mustache kind of throwing some feed out, gets a steak out, throws it to the lion. Oh, sorry, we're not open yet. Not open till the afternoon.
Well, good sir, we are not exactly looking for a ticket. Have you seen, and I start describing our friend, yesterday he must have walked down the main road. He disappeared that night. He never arrived home.
Well, and he's kind of looking around. There's no one there. Well, if you're looking for missing persons, look right across the road. That's what I see. You can look back at the fairground Maximus back there with a big tent. We don't travel with them anymore.
What makes you say that?
People have gone missing, you see. No one that would notice, but we notice because we kind of...
And they're at fault? And I point at the fairground Maximus.
No, there's nothing you can prove. But there's something weird going on. Something weird.
What was the previous event you shared with them before you came here to Cambridge?
Yeah, that was Stilton. We were in Stilton last week, and we left Stilton, and not a day later we hear about somebody that went missing. They're starting claiming stuff. It's a bad rap. We're not feeding this lion anything we're not supposed to. No matter what you hear during the shows.
Well, yes, show patter is its own fantastical business, I understand. What sort of person went missing at Stilton?
Oh, just one of the local, travelers.
Mm-hmm.
We call them groupies now, I guess. I don't know, like a carny, some kind.
Mm-hmm.
I just say it's the drink, Maybe they got drunk, wandered off. Maybe they found a better job in town. It wouldn't be the first time that someone's run off with a lady.
Does the Fairground Maximus contain a freak show among its attractions?
Yeah.
Do they have a geek?
They do. I don't hold with that kind of thing.
Ugly business, yes.
Yeah. Well, it's just too much expense. It's a lot cheaper to have animals. Plus, they don't talk back. Kind of hits the cage.
And what with the animals and all? I assume you were all sleeping in one of the caravans, yes?
Yeah.
And
yeah, but we not too close. We're a little further down the river.
Yeah. You certainly didn't hear anything, though.
No.
Well, I appreciate your frankness. We'll look into them. Have a good show.
Yeah. Break a leg and all that.
All right. Felix, what do you think?
I don't know. That we're getting them assigned as blame quite so early is a bit usually these they tend to stick together, the traveling folk.
Or they have grudges, I suppose.
Well, we should definitely check them out.
Yes, and there's no. I assume there's not any action at Maximus yet.
Uh, you're looking. There is a little bit of movement, much like these other places, but you're a little surprised as you're looking over there. You're not seeing a number of kind of these carny people walking around. There's 3 clowns all wearing identical outfits moving around the tents. You see one of them pick up a trash can and kind of take it off to the side, and it's all behind a low fence, like kind of a little crowd deterrent. You'd have to hop it, and it would be very obvious if you were just going in without passing through the ticket booth at that point. But yeah, it's just these 3 clowns just kind of moving around silently. They don't seem to like talk to each other. They're just picking stuff up, moving it.
Well, we're not here for a show. We're here to ask some questions. And
Well, I'm
just
curious to
ask
see
them.
what it's all about.
We can come back later
Yeah.
in the evening and see the show, but let's see if anybody has seen anything. Those
Well, they're not busy now. They're not
clowns.
performing, so
Yeah.
we might as well ask.
Ask them.
As you are walking back out the road, Detective Felix Perry, gotta say the whole name every time, you see that there is a young officer kind of speed walking through the commons. Looks like he came from the river area, and he sees you and just beelines towards you.
Yeah, I'll stop and you can go ahead. To the rest of the group, and then catch up to him.
Yeah, he quickly runs up to you. Detective Perry, I'm sorry if this is your day off, but there's been a body reported by the river.
What does it look like?
It doesn't look good. It really doesn't look good.
Well, bring me to it then, man.
Okay. Yeah, and you can see he's a little green around the gills as he starts to bring you north alongside.
Wait. We might need a bit more help there. I return to the group. There's been a body found at the riverbank. I might need your expertise on that.
Is it Giles?
Let's not jump to conclusions. This is
Sure,
this
let's
is
tell me.
dreadful.
Not jumping to any conclusion. I'm simply asking the question. Let's go.
Yeah.
And he brings you along. You have that kind of the hurry bustle. As you are alongside the river, you can see there is a kind of a slope down to it with growth, like kind of plants and stuff just kind of growing there. And there is very definitely a boot sticking out of these reeds, and it's partly in the water.
Does it look like Giles' boot?
It doesn't look like Giles' boot. This has more of a workman's kind of look to it. It's very scuffed and tough looking. And the detective goes, I would caution against, well, harden yourself if you're gonna look at it. It's
Yes, it might be a little bit upsetting.
I'll take his advice. Too old for this rubbish.
all right. So who's going to the body?
I'll stand at a reasonable distance and say some prayers.
I'll go.
Yeah, I want to see what has befallen this poor fellow.
Right. Then those that go and look, go ahead and roll a sanity roll, please.
Quite.
As you're kind of get above it, you see that the body looks like if you had taken the skin and taken out all the meat and muscle and organs, and it's just a covering over bones. Like you can see there's clearly some shape to it behind just the skin, but the eyes are gone. The mouth just is kind of open wide. It looks completely picked clean.
Does it look like Giles?
No.
No, it's a. How much sand loss for a pass? 0.
A pass is 1. A failure is D4.
Thank goodness it's not Giles.
Does it appear that this strange condition of the corpse is due to its having been in the water for some time?
Yeah, you're getting a good look at it. It's not wet, other than kind of the top part of the head and hair that's in the water a little bit. Like the hands that you can see, completely dry.
I'll get closer and start investigating and check the clothing and whatever I can find.
Yeah, and you're kind of looking through the clothes. Do a track or natural world check.
Track then.
Any of you
That's
that
a
are
pass.
there looking can look, but there you go. So you see a few things. The first is the outfit very much more looks like a worker's outfit, but it has been crumpled and stained, and it's got that look of clothes that have been worn for a couple weeks, maybe, where you think if you stood this out, the clothes might just stand on their own. And there is a little ticket stub in one of the pockets that yes, you can see it is the Fairgrounds Maximus admit 1 fortune reading.
I hand it over to Martin.
And this is dry as well?
Yes, that is dry as well.
Is it a torn stub as though it had been used for admittance? Or is it intact as though it hadn't been used?
It is torn.
Is there a number on the ticket?
Yes, there is.
Well, this is very interesting, because if the other half of this ticket is in the receipts, then we have witness, and at the very least, Cartwright, are there any insects or parasites that could leave a human or other animal body in this condition?
The thing you've got to keep in mind, Martin, and what makes us so perplexing is no animal would consume the human tissue would stay away from the skin, if that makes sense. The fact that his skin is intact and everything else is gone, I mean, any kind of internal parasite or a predator would have damaged the skin in some fashion.
Yeah, this looks like a cool taxidermist joke.
Yeah. And Cartwright, as you're kind of talking about that, and this is where Detective, your track roll works out, you're kind of looking at the water, and you notice that there is a massive amount of blowfly pupa in the water.
Okay.
Which shouldn't really be there in that quantity.
Well, if you're saying this, and I point out the blowfly, this seems to be out of place here.
How deep is the water?
It's especially near the edge there. You could wade into it pretty easily, we'll say.
Okay, so I'll take off my shoes and my socks and roll up my
I'll
trousers.
accompany the professor and offer him a strong arm.
And I'll wade in and I'll scoop up some of the blowflies, or at least see if they're eating or being spawned on something.
Yeah, and you can see that these are I'm not exactly sure the size, but they're kind of like, they almost look like dark colored rice, is just looking at it there, and you can easily scoop up a handful of them, and there's more just kind of in the water there.
Wilson, what the deuce is Cartwright doing?
Playing around in the water like children.
Jesus. I'm sorry.
We're gonna be late for afternoon tea.
Yeah, so I don't know what the devil these flies are doing here.
Yeah.
But that many is quite odd.
Right.
What do these larvae generally feed upon?
Meat, right? Like dead.
Yeah, rotting meat.
Yeah.
Yep.
You would expect them, you see, Martin, you'd expect them to be on the skin, as I was saying, but they're just out in the water.
Hmm.
Perry, was there any identification on the poor fellow, or just
None that I could find.
Nope. That's right. The only thing you found was that ticket stub.
and the corpse's hair is intact? Would it appear he's a younger man?
Yeah, kind of a younger. You can tell from the way the skin is, though, is it's scarred and whatnot. Is this this was probably a working person of some kind.
Well, it's a nameless, unidentified laborer is just the sort of victim that the strong man at the Pee-wee tent would have us expect. Nothing, however, like Giles. And there'll be no way for the constabulary to figure out how long he's been in this condition, because the condition is so unnatural. Or am I mistaken?
Go ahead. Either one of you, actually, all of you, could do a natural world check.
A little touch of that.
55 as a pass.
All right. Nice. You think that this would have had to have been sometime maybe earlier this morning, when these all kind of came out and pupated, just from, you've got a handful of them. You can get a good look. They're fairly fresh. I don't know if you use that term for that kind of metamorphosis, but they're fairly fresh.
Yes, these flies at least have not been here long.
But the whole process of removing everything under the skin, but not the bones, and leaving the bones in that state, that must have taken hours or days.
This is so. Looking at the skin of this poor fellow, are there knife wounds or anything, like surgical marks?
You are looking around with the examination that the two of you have kind of done. You're not seeing any, there's no blood there. You're not seeing any obvious cuts.
I'm going to go back to the two squeamish fellows and give them a rough breakdown of what they're missing, in case they have any non-Christ-based ideas.
So do you think that God would ride a train or an automobile?
I think that you forget that God is already everywhere. He doesn't need to travel. But
here's Martin.
you should really. Hello, Martin. What is Cartwright playing with maggots?
There's some unusual insect activity, and the deceased himself is rather hard to explain. It's sort of a taxidermy gone terribly awry scenario, and he might have only been there for a few hours. We don't know who he is. We do know that he went to see the fortune teller at the Fairground Maximus.
Confirming what I've told you about that spiritual stuff. You should stay away from all of that theosophy stuff and fortune-telling stuff.
The thing, Eleazar, that you fail to apprehend is that if I have a God-given gift, then God gave it, and so you should probably approve rather than lecture me.
I would say yes, indeed, if that were true, but my guess is that you are deluded, my friend.
My track record speaks for itself.
Well, let's get back to business. Did you find any evidence?
Well, nothing regarding Giles. However, the fact that there is a human corpse in the vicinity, to me, bodes ill.
What kind of person was it? Riffraff? A carny?
Some sort of hard-laboring young fellow. And again, there are no obvious injuries externally, but all of his guts and muscle are missing. He's like a deflated rubber sack around his skeleton. It's really very
Horrible.
ghastly.
Perhaps Felix can check to see if there are any other missing people. Surely the man's was, in a relationship, but if not, then he had friends. People would notice that he was missing.
No, he's not carrying any sort of identification, so he could be from anywhere.
This doesn't really, though, have anything to do with Giles. It's a police matter.
Except where there is one cadaver, there may be others. It's on my fear, at least.
God, let's hope not. Arthur, remember to wash your hands, please.
Oh, don't you want to come over here and see some of your god's great work in designing these creatures, correct?
Yes,
if he created all life, he created these flies, and yet you seem disgusted by them.
Yes, indeed I do. He also created shit, and yet I don't want to run my fingers through it.
Peculiar world your god has made, then.
And the detective, not the detective, the officer that's kind of standing there has just been watching Cartwright's hand full of these insects, and he's going green again do you want me I'm sorry, detective,
Get a grip, man.
All right, yes, stiff upper lip and all that.
Well,
Yeah.
Do we have any reports of missing personnel on the manufactory side, or?
I can go look. I don't.
You definitely should, yeah.
Okay. Should I just leave the body here?
You have to get the coroner or the funeral director or whatever you call him. Yes.
Yes.
That's who I was gonna go get.
And then afterwards, you directly go.
Okay.
And inquire.
Okay. Thank you. And he kind of takes off walking again.
So hard to find good personnel these days.
Poor man, a hard-working gentleman, reduced to a bag of skin over bones. How horrifying.
Yes.
Visited a fortune teller. Or at least whomever belonged these clothes.
Is this fortune teller still here? And I will gesture towards the fairground.
We should try to find out.
Ask Martin. He'll be able to
divine it
where she is. Yes,
I might at least be able to communicate with the person. The caravans that house the travelers, are they emblazoned with the name of their affiliated act?
Yes, they certainly would be.
Yeah. Well, Felix will have to stay with the corpse until some other constables arrive. Arthur, well, I don't know. Would anyone like to go and see if we could find the caravan of the fortune teller with me?
We'll all go.
Very well. So we'll just cool our heels here for a moment and wait for some other constables to show up, because we can't really leave the poor fellow unattended.
Well, I'll take care about the fellow, and I'll look at it again. Maybe I can find some cause of death.
Catch up with us. We'll be over in that direction, I think.
All right. So the detective stays with the body for a moment, and the other four are heading where? Sounded like to the wagons.
Up to, yes, down the river where all the wagons appear to be lined up. We'll look at the Maximus. Is it a larger tent than most behind the little wooden stile?
Yes, and let me give you a map of this.
There are people around. We can ask.
Yes.
Carnies.
And what's interesting as you are getting closer to the Fairground Maximus, you can see that it is laid out. It has the entry tent, the wall, a large tent, a couple smaller tents, and then that steam-powered whirling death machine that probably turns your stomach just looking at it. And then nearby, it has 3 of these wagons used for carrying people, and then another small, looks like probably the person who actually owns the fairground or the Maximus. But you do notice that the other groups there, they've gotten a bit further away. You think maybe it's a pretty common rumor that people have disappeared around there.
Well, as traveling types superstitious in general.
Well, that steam-powered machine looks like it can debone and flay.
Oh yes, if the fellow in the river had his bones removed, I think, yeah, that would be. I'd consider that machine a real possibility.
I'd like to get a closer look at that at some time.
Quite. I suppose the appropriate thing would be if that is the owner's wagon office, maybe the social thing to do is to approach that individual initially before, he takes exception to us wandering around inquiring among his employees. I also, we were up late on a Friday evening, and so this is the Saturday approaching midday.
It's not specific, but yeah, let's say that kind of makes sense.
I also assume even if they close the fairground at 8 o'clock, when it's full dark and all, that the employees stay up around fires, drinking and talking. Giles might have gotten sucked into some interesting conversation with staff.
Yeah. And that's fair. You would notice that the caravans themselves kind of have those lanterns out front, so it would be lit at night, at least to some degree.
Well, the young woman said that she saw him walking through the fairgrounds. That would have had to have been around 11:30.
Quite. Is there a magician in the Maximus cavalcade?
Do a spot hidden.
Oh, 89.
I'm going to guess that you do not see a magician. Yes.
Concentrate real hard. See if you can pick up on his psychic vibrations.
Oh, God. I sometimes forget, Eleazar, that everything you say is farce.
Can we stop this theological supernatural pizzle measuring? Please.
What so, Morris?
Morris, I've been trying to get them to stop for years now. I don't think that one little outburst from you is going to put an end to it all.
But now one of our friends is missing.
Yes, that's the most important thing. Don't forget, we are all friends, even I and Martin.
Yeah, good-natured sparring is all it ever has. So, given that you are good with imposing yourself on strangers, Eleazar, perhaps you should introduce yourself to the manager.
All right.
Okay. Going up to these caravans, you can see again, there's the 3 more basic ones near the back, and then this one is much nicer looking.
Mm-hmm.
How do you approach it?
Do we hear people talking? Do we hear, just the general din of people working and getting things ready for the evening?
Yes, standing especially outside his caravan, you do hear talking. Yeah, you hear a man's voice giving orders. It sounds like kind of the make sure you do this, you're at this tent, you're at that tent. We're gonna do it this way. But you do notice it's a bit odd because yes, the other caravans, there's quite a bit of chatter just from people, talking. This group is quiet. The only voice you hear is from the main caravan.
All right. Is there anybody between me and the caravan? Is there
no
somebody walking around?
There is as you're kind of approaching out of one of the other caravans, one of these clowns opens the door and kind of steps down the little footsteps down there. And this is the first time you get a really good look up close. He's wearing one of those striped outfits that really kind of goes around, kind of gives them this look of girth, even if maybe they're really not.
Sure.
Large frills around, and the face is covered with a wooden mask. And you think they may all be alike, of just this very sad looking clown with very almost pained looking eyes.
Excuse me, my dear courtier. Does he turn to me?
Yeah, there's kind of a slow turn and he saunters
Could you
over.
tell me where I could talk to the manager of your little circus?
And the clown nods silently and points towards the fancy caravan you're at.
Thank you. Must be a mute.
And it stays looking at you for a second too long, as it then turns and goes back.
All right.
And Eleazar, you don't need to do a spot hidden check on this. As it came up to you, it reeked of cheap perfume. It's almost it's almost a trail after it as it walks away.
A feminine perfume or a cologne?
Little bit of both. It is not pleasant.
Perhaps they don't have facilities to bathe out here. Whatever. I will go if there's little steps up to the door.
Yep.
I'll go up the steps and I'll knock on the door.
Yes. The voice stops and you just hear from inside. Oh, open the door. And the door creaks open and you're face to face again with the same pained looking clown mask.
Same smell.
Yeah, same smell just kind of wafts out of this caravan, and you see there are 3 of these clowns inside, and behind a small desk is a much more slicked back hair, nice looking guy. You can see he looks like he's actually putting on a little bit of makeup at the moment, he's getting ready for the day.
Good afternoon. I am Eleazar Phillips. Do you have a moment?
I suppose so. Of course. What can I do for you? And go ahead, boys. You know what you're supposed to be doing.
So I get out of the way and let them leave. I don't mean to bother you. I know that you're busy. I have a number of friends here. There's 5 of us. We seem to have lost one of our cohorts. He was on his way to his home, which is not far from here, last night, and he seems to have disappeared. We haven't ruled out the fact that he may have fallen ill of the ruffian or something. We were hoping to ask you if you'd heard anything, any struggle in the night, It would have been around 11:30.
11:30? No, I don't think so. We usually close up around 8, and then of course
Yes.
we have to shut down the machine. Have you seen it yet?
The contraption.
Yes.
Very,
A
very
steam
interesting.
machine.
Very interesting looking.
What does it do?
This is Mr. Morris. He's an engineer.
Ah,
Yes,
pleasure.
I'm a steam
pleasure.
engineer myself. And you are?
Oh, you can call me Max McClelland. It's wonderful to meet you. He reaches out for a handshake.
You're Irish or Scottish?
What'll make you buy a ticket?
I'll shake his
A
hand.
businessman.
Yes. You know how it is. Can't turn off any customers.
What does it do?
The machine?
Correct.
Well, what we do is you get to experience the joys of flight in the air, whirling around at some people say dangerous speeds, but you both look like you're the kind of person that doesn't mind a little danger.
I was a missionary in Africa. I've had enough danger. But
Africa.
Before you show Morris your machine, do you mind if we ask some of your people whether they've seen anything or heard anything?
Oh, I don't think they're going to be much help, but they're not all there, you understand.
Oh, yes, I saw this one here. Is he mute? Unable to speak?
Yes.
So you actually help those who are unfortunate.
I can't help but give. It's, this traveling life is difficult. So when you find people along the road, it's nice to give them a purpose in life.
Well, one of the people across the way at the other place, she did say that she saw him walking through the grounds last night, but he never arrived at home. We thought perhaps he'd gotten into conversation with somebody, or...
Well, it certainly wouldn't be with one of my crew members, and I'm afraid our freak show tenants don't generally talk with the rabble.
Oh, you have
sorry.
a freak show.
Well, yes, of course.
Well, would you mind if we just looked around a bit? We'll probably be buying tickets and coming back later this evening.
Oh, probably?
Well, it depends on if we are still looking for our friend.
Yes, I understand. Tell you what, I'll have one of my boys show you around. How's that sound?
That would be very kind of you. Thank you.
Great. And he leans out the door, and just you hear this whistle, and the clowns kind of all turn and look in unison, and he points at one of them like...
And I believe, Mr. Morris, you're interested in speaking to him about the contraption.
Yes, I am.
Ah.
Now, did you create this yourself?
I did not create this. I'm a bit of a traveler, so I've picked up a thing here and there. I was actually in America when they were showing off some of their steam-powered contraptions, and I've had this one made. It's quite safe. I know I have to sell it as dangerous, but I don't want people clutching at pearls and declaring it unsafe. It is quite safe, but thrilling.
I see.
Oh, by the way, my friend Martin here is very interested in spiritualism. Do you have a fortune teller?
Why, yes, I do. In fact, you're looking at him.
Ah, you're the fortune teller, Martin.
Ah, another fellow seer into the unknown. It's a good gig if you can get it.
As it happens, yes. I think it's all about choosing the right deck and the right member of the public, shall we say.
Yes.
Do you do all of the mancies? Cartomancy, Oniromancy?
I will admit I'm not particularly inclined in that way. I know how to put on a show and get people interested. I, usually fill out the show with a little bit of tarot reading, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. What sort of rube do you generally pull in on a circuit like this?
Oh, I mean, we take all kinds. We usually don't bring in the children just to raise interest in it, People like a good fortune telling if they think it might be scandalous.
Right. Yes. And smaller groups are easier to manipulate, I think, as a rule. I don't feel as though my work generally appeals enormously to the laboring class.
It depends. It's usually you get most of the time it's younger folks, ladies, young lads looking for a little bit of romantic advice.
I think couples and old biddies I see a lot of.
Yes.
Well, I guess you haven't heard the news. There's been a body found just off the fairground there. He appears to have been a participant of your program last night.
Oh, I'm sorry, that can't be right. I didn't do a fortune reading last night. I only fortune read the last night. There, do you have the ticket?
Well, I have the half that the body had on it. Number is 01994. It might go on, but it's torn, you see.
I'm sorry, I'd have to look at our numbers. I could look at them over here, and he kind of gestures back at. We've been going along the coast. You understand? It's. I only do fortune reading the last day, though.
Be very curious if somebody whose fortune you read back at Stilton followed you here and then got himself killed somehow.
Well, sometimes the members of other groups get their fortunes read. People are not, even though they've seen it, they still like to believe in the magic, you understand?
Right, it could be a shaman. That's an interesting thought I hadn't considered.
Do a psychology roll, though.
Yeah, I'm disappointed given his talents that have been a 30 only. I am not going to spend 21 points. It's a little dear.
Yeah, there is you do mention the body. There is kind of an odd look that comes across his face, but it's difficult to kind of place exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, since I do, you see that fellow over there. It's a little hard with the glistening water behind him, but that detective is a friend of mine, and Mr. Phillips's, who's overseeing the investigation of this strangely deformed body. And and so I have temporary access to the ticket number. Let's see if it matches anything in your books.
Well, of course. Well, do you wish to start the tour? I don't want to keep you. It will take me a few minutes to find exactly where this one comes from.
Oh, I think my friends should follow your. Do they have to wear the masks all the time?
I'm afraid they actually prefer it that way. They're difficult to look at.
He may be choosing people that are unfortunate and have had accidents. And
I'm guessing also that the clowns all wear gloves.
Yes, they do.
That none of their skin is visible.
It is kind of odd that, yes, as you're thinking about this, yeah.
Yes, no, I'd like to go with you and check the ticket number, and I'll check in with my friends again once your delightful payasos have had an opportunity to show them the lay of the land.
Wonderful.
And will one of your assistants show us to the freak show?
Yes. You may call this one Pugsley.
Pugsley.
Pugsley. Say hello, Pugsley. And it just kind of does this little...
It's all right, Pugsley, I understand.
And just kind of like... looks like that. All right, and it starts to lead the three of you out. We'll say detective at this point. You also have another constable has shown up and is did that. You did.
You've taken quite your time.
The kid that told us wasn't real specific about where exactly this was.
I see. Well, he needs to learn then.
Yeah. He's gonna get in trouble. Yeah, we'll take care of this from here. We'll let you know if we find anything.
Good. Are there any new missing person reports? I mean, the town has been quiet.
That's right.
Before
Yeah,
this
he asked about that.
appeared.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty quiet here. We haven't had anybody, especially fitting this description that I know of.
Did you fetch my uniform?
Sure. If you told the other guy to, yeah, I'll have the.
No, I expected him to bring it to me, but yeah.
Oh, then roll luck.
didn't tell him.
Yeah, then roll luck.
07.
Yeah, then he brought the uniform crisply
Yeah.
pressed.
Okay. Yeah, then I get dressed because my weekend is over.
Good
All right.
God, is Felix taking off his clothes over there by the...
No, it's more like a coat and a bowler hat and
Yes, but mine was
It
funny.
says FBI in the back. Well, I wouldn't go swimming in those waters. There's a lot of botflies. Yes, and you are able to join with the group. You see that they have a very sad-looking clown. At least that's the face he's put on, kind of directing through. As you go through the front entrance, you see there is a man sitting there, kind of getting ready to set up for tickets. And he is middle-aged, has a great big mustache. Obviously, he's not a clown, but he's getting set up behind the booth. He looks up, and the clown does kind of like a little pantomime, like, we're going in, and he just waves you past. And you can see...
I probably also noticed the perfume.
Yes. Hanging out with Pugsley is an aromatic affair, to say the least.
I quietly explained to the detective the situation. They're unfortunates who've been injured, and they choose to cover themselves up. So
Is this some sort of monastery order that I haven't heard of?
I don't think so. I think they're just, burn victims and so forth. And Max is good enough to give them something to do, but he says they're not very good to look at. Apparently, they don't smell very well either. They're all using some sort of cologne and perfume.
A bit of mix of ladies and men's perfume, I'm afraid.
They understand what you say. They just don't respond verbally.
Mm-hmm.
And
Because they don't choose to.
For whatever reason, some of them may be mutes, but they're not deaf.
I get out a notebook. Well, what's your name, sir?
And the clown kind of does like a look back and forth, and then points at Eleazar.
Pugsley.
Mr. Phillips, I would like to have our interviewee answer my questions.
I don't believe that he can.
Well, he doesn't have mouth movement because you Like it's all behind this mask. There's just a
Right.
Can I see his skin or his throat exposed in
no.
some way?
It's all kind of behind fabric in this large frill that goes out.
Don't be
Okay.
rude, Felix.
This is a murder investigation now.
You think the clown murdered someone?
Well,
And
someone
it
did.
kind of does like the knee slap. Like that's very, very funny.
Yes, I don't think so. What did you say earlier about not accusing people?
Well,
He's going to show us around. We get to see the
you seem to be very
unfortunate
fond of these freaks here.
fond.
Please,
You're passing
go ahead.
judgment on me now, are you? I understand their plight. Prejudice against people who are unfortunate has been something that I have labored against in my missionary endeavors. So yes,
They don't
treat
seem
them.
dim-witted, at least.
You should treat them like anyone else and respect their culture, which is, in this case, silence.
Hmm.
Let him
And
show
if their
us
culture
around.
was to be murdering people, should I respect that as well?
You belong better in India with the thuggies.
No, listen, Felix. All Eleazar cares about is as long as they can do this.
I'm not a Catholic, Cartwright. I keep telling you that. Catholics are all going to burn in hell.
And you were saying that, and Cartwright, you do the motion, and you're looking kind of around this this area, and you realize that the other clowns that have been moving things around, they've stopped. They're all just watching, and they are all doing that same movement.
She didn't tell me these were all Catholics. I got to get out of here.
Gotta bail.
Passing judgment. Well,
Yep. And now the Pugsley kind of takes a moment and he points. He does like the flight attendant thing where he kind of points off to one side. You can see there is a rope throwing game. Looks like is set up with some prizes hanging on little hooks there. There's some goldfish just kind of swimming around in the back, and he mimics like that, but there's no one manning it at the moment.
Yes, we don't want to play games. We want to meet some of the people who work here. The people who the showmen.
I think so.
Yeah, and he points behind him to this this big tent that has the the freak show signs in it. Lots of claims about things that, especially to our modern sensibilities, are very insensitive to say the least. But crocodile skinned boy, that sort of thing there's quite a mix. Bearded lady, there's one of those.
Have we gotten to the steam machine yet?
And he points behind the tent. You can see it rising up there, almost like a big spider.
I'd like to analyze that a little closer once I get there.
All right. So who do we meet first?
Whoever we see first in the tent, I suppose.
Okay. Going into the freak show tent, you can see that it is laid out, big surprise, in a circle. Kind of, you can walk around the main middle area. What's interesting about this, beyond the various little kind of plywood booths set up for each individual person, there is also in the middle a raised stand with a giant iron maiden just yawning open on it. But you can see very clearly there's, the bearded ladies is actually sitting there. Looks like she's just reading a book at the moment.
Good morning.
Oh, hello. We're not open yet.
No, we know.
Someone who can talk. Perfect.
Max told us that we could come in here and have a chat? We have a friend who's missing, and we were wondering if you heard anything in the night around 11:30. Somebody call out.
No, I'm sure I didn't hear anything.
And there was a murder. So,
Oh,
please,
that's
can you tell me what happened yesterday?
I'm sure I didn't hear anything. And you can see her eyes are darting like around, like she's clearly this has disturbed her immediately.
Well, I'll. What kind of routine do you have?
Well, usually we just come out and get made fun of by the people in whatever shitty town we're in.
Okay.
That's a
Do you
shame.
do some play acting or something else?
I mean, I've got it pretty easy. I usually lift some of these weights or something, and then they go, "Ooh, a woman with a beard." I mean, I've got it easier than a lot of these other people.
Are you well
What
treated?
is
Yes. And she's directly looking at the clown at this moment. Yes.
Okay.
You like working for Max?
Yes, of course. I'm glad he's decided to keep the freak show around.
And is she looking nervous?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're getting like a bundle of nerves kind of impression off of her.
Well, I don't see
Pugsley?
anything suspicious here. I'll continue the tour. And I venture onto the clown, and maybe together with Professor Cartwright we can distract him.
And Pugsley is kind of stuck between the two groups. Yeah, as the detective is walking off. And he's kind of like,
And I have my notebook out, and I seem to write things down, and I want to talk to people. Maybe
I'll make a tearing in half motion, and then
and it just kind of sits there for a second, and Detective Perry and Cartwright, you see there is a clown that enters the back of the tent and starts to walk your way.
Oh, good morning, sir. What is your name? You don't know what your name is.
Do you have any
It does a little-
identification?
And it kind of mimes like pulling out a wallet and showing you. Acts like it can't find it. Make
If this was
a
London,
yeah.
we could get our constabulary in to round them all up.
Make a spot hidden, the two of you, with this new one that's entered.
56 is a regular success.
This
Harry's too
one,
annoyed.
you would have said it's an exact copy, almost. But the way it walked is dragging its leg a little bit. Like it's kind of got like a limp stride to it. And even when its leg isn't being pulled along the ground, it's moving a little. Like kind of just a little jump.
But you said it's dressed exactly the same as Pugsley.
Exactly. Yep. And it has the same mask, everything. It looks spot on the same.
Don't clowns usually have different sort of makeup? I asked the professor, of course.
Yeah.
From what I understand, normally they try to individuate themselves in some way. This one seems to be fond of fancy footwork, unlike Pugsley.
Yeah, you can very quickly see then, Perry, that his foot is just kind of vibrating a little. Just a little like twitch to it. Like he has a restless leg or something.
Nerve damage.
Is he like the same height as Pugsley? Same build as Pugsley?
A little taller, and the problem is the bodysuit they wear makes it very difficult. You think maybe there's like some padding in the suit proper that would fill them out to roughly the same kind of comical size.
Hmm.
You know your obsession with these clowns. I don't completely understand. Why don't you just ask him to take off his mask?
That's what I did.
He doesn't want to. It'd be like asking you to take off your clothes.
That's what we do with a thorough search, yeah. It's not something people really want to.
And Felix, you have to have a justification. You can't just search everyone. You have no connection between the murder and these people.
Well, obstruction of police work would be a justification. But
Well, yeah, while the clown's probably paying attention to them, I'm going to lean into the bearded lady and I'm going to say blink twice if you're in danger.
Do a persuade roll.
I'm good at that. Let's go.
All right.
Oh, all right. Spending 10 luck.
Yeah, you do the blink twice, and she just kind of leans back. No, but you are. And then straightens up again.
Okay. Well, it was nice meeting you.
Yes, you'll have to come by later and see the actual show.
Yes, that would be nice.
Wouldn't it?
You've been very helpful.
Great. Yes. Say hi to Max for me. And we'll jump from there. Martin, you have just had a thorough book search with Max. He has shown you the ticket. Where it would have been about a month ago. And by and large, it seems to pass out. Like, yeah, he saw this guy in the middle of a bunch of other fortune tellings. The ticket matches. There's that. What surprised you, and you are he didn't like purposely show you, but you're pretty keen. He's made a lot of donations to charities and stuff. He seems like a really, really nice guy.
Yeah, this McClellan fellow seems top notch. Was Stilton more than a month ago? Is this several?
Stilton was about a month ago, I believe.
So it's in keeping with, and you don't remember seeing any reading any fortunes of staff of the larger changing community that
I'm sure I could have. I probably did. I mean, it's they would have had to get a ticket the same as any other, so that's very possibly what this fella is. Just another person. But as you can see by the books, I've seen a lot of people.
Indeed, you look like you're doing very well. Commendable all around. I wonder, in addition to the freak show, the Steam device, your own fortune telling, are there other components to the act? Do the clowns do an act of their own?
Why, yes. In fact, tonight I'll be doing one. Yes, a death-defying escape.
Tell you what, jolly ripping stuff.
You should come back tonight. And you look down, you actually have tickets just in your hand.
Oh, Mr. McClellan, you're too generous, really.
I can't help but give, but do come by tonight.
Well, we shall certainly do so. I mean, assuming, of
Wonderful.
course, that we haven't found our friend Giles by then and have some other concern.
Well, you will have to tell me if you do find him.
Yes, well, we certainly shall. Well, you've been very generous with your time.
Of course.
I'll go and find my friends.
And you step out and do a sanity roll because you were only in there for a couple minutes, but maybe 15. You think, you see a clock. It's been 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. Time really flew while you were in there. And you can see, you have tickets to the steam ride, the freak show, ring toss, and a fortune telling ticket.
Do I still have the half fortune telling ticket that I went in with?
No, you actually left that with him. You didn't need it anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well, I 19 for sanity, so I'm
okay. Yeah.
Just gonna chalk that up to the charming conversation. Should one or none or?
Very good. Then are you heading in to join the others at that point?
Yeah, if I could spot them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they in a tent or outside of a tent or in between tents?
You can kind of see them through in the freak show tent, we'll say, as you're doing that. What is the group doing? You've had the clown kind of showing you around.
Well, he showed us the bearded woman. Well, who's next on the list?
You'd see there's a little person there. He is dressed like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a very Highlands type look, like a Highland warrior. You can actually see there's some weaponry set to the side there, and a small little like stuffed pony.
We ask him, of course, all the same sort of things.
Yeah. And he like was listening. He just yeah, I don't got nothing more to say. No thanks.
Well, fellows, I'll tell you, Max was very forthcoming. Seems like a jolly fellow, honestly. And we have tickets to tonight's events.
Well, that's nice. You've been gone rather long.
It seemed just a moment, but I guess he had to look through his books and I don't know. He's charming, so I guess time just flew by.
We talked to the bearded lady. She's lovely. We talked to me or whatever his name is there.
It actually is Minnie. Yeah.
We were just about to move on to Crocodile Boy or
yeah. And going around, you're getting the same feel from everyone. They're all kind of giving a look to the bearded woman, like she's like, I don't want to say anymore. We saw you talking, and
it's understandable that they're all quite a close-knit group, and they don't like outsiders sticking their noses into their business. But nobody so far has seen Giles or heard anything. I hope that he wasn't just grabbed and he's in an alley somewhere. Might not have even, might have walked. If he'd have walked completely through here, he would have ended up over by Abbey Road. But maybe something happened to him over there.
Here we are running around bothering circus folk, and he might have been taken aboard some small boat and has been dragged down toward the coast and has been press ganged into some Russian vessel.
What did they call that? Shanghaied?
I'm a little pale at this point.
Wilson, you look a little pale.
All right. I'll lean in to Felix, the police officer, and relay the information that I did the blink twice and if you're in danger to the bearded woman, and she said that we're in danger. And it did not seem like a joke. I don't like this one bit at all.
Felix
You
nods.
you look over Pugsley and other Pugsley just standing there.
Do they
Looking.
move at all if they're not spoken to?
Do a spot hidden.
Yeah. 09. That is hard or extreme. That is an extreme.
Do a sanity roll.
That's a fail.
Yikes. You are looking at the one that isn't Pugsley,
Mm-hmm.
and you are positive that just for a moment you saw a lump just kind of come out of the outfit and then back in like something was crawling underneath it. And then it's completely still again. Do a D4.
It's 1. Too lucky. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Felix is taken aback by both revelations at the same time. Okay. We better regroup a bit outside and then have a go again. Martin, do you still have the ticket?
Oh, heavens,
It's
Felix!
evidence.
Of course it is. I matched it with the one that he had from a month ago in Stilton, and I guess once I saw they went.
A month ago in Stilton. Okay.
But I suppose once I saw they matched, I forgot it. He's a very pleasant fellow. I'm sure he'd return it to you.
Well,
Perhaps we should go outside. Have we covered everyone in the tent?
Yes, you have at this point.
Morris is like kicking at the reins, wanting to see that machine. We can talk out there.
Yeah, we have tickets for tonight's exhibition as well. Again,
well,
Max was
he gave them to you. You didn't have to purchase them.
Not a penny. He's a remarkably friendly fellow.
How charitable.
It does seem so.
Well, if Morris is wanting to look at the steam engine powered whirligig, the clown is happy to show you there, but it does basically, again, kind of a flight attendant's like safety lesson. Like you get within about 10 feet and it puts its hands up like stop. Yeah. And it kind of shows you that this is like, there's a lot of places, if you weren't careful, you could get your hand crushed or hurt in some way. It's 1890s. They're not worried about safety that much, but yeah,
that's what children are for.
Yeah, this thing will spin and then lift up a little bit, so you're really up in the air and going.
But is that its actual purpose as I look at it a lot more?
Make an engineering check.
Sure. That is a pass. Does it matter if I make it a hard?
It doesn't. You are positive that this thing is very dangerous, in fact. But that's what it's for, is to spin people around at high velocity. But yeah, you look at that and you probably have flashbacks to people getting crushed in steam engines and, their skin boiling off. It would be real bad to be in there.
Abomination to safety protocol.
Safety one.
OSHA said what? And yeah, it's happy to show you that. It kind of shows you the direction of the other tent. You can see that it is closed, and it is very clearly the fortune-telling tent. It kind of does like a fake orb and like, ooh.
Well, I think that we might be wasting our time. We should go over to Abbey Road and walk up and down and see if there's a place where we see blood or something like that. We can come back here tonight. I think it's quite pleasant. I rather liked the bearded woman. She seemed lovely.
So
they're nodding
once
in unison.
remove ourselves from the camp.
Thank you, Pugsley, very much. And I'm going to put my hand on his shoulder and give him a pat.
Do a sanity roll, please.
37 is a... Where's my sanity? Oh, I got 80. Yeah, I passed.
Okay. It shifted under your hand.
Okay, I just imagine that
had a
maybe
lot
he's
of
deformed.
give.
He's
Yeah.
deformed in some way, and I'm like, oh, I didn't mean to harm you.
And it kind of looks surprised, like, oh.
I moved like to shake his hand.
And they're side by side, just both of them in unison.
Okay.
Like waving goodbye.
I raise my eyebrows and I'm like, there must be something horribly wrong. And if we're walking away, are they staying there and we're walking away?
Yeah, they're just kind of standing at the entry tent watching you go.
It's like
and you can see, there's a couple other in the caravan area now just looking at you go.
How
Okay,
many
so
of
that-
those?
Grab your ticket stub.
I'll get back
detective.
to that later. Yeah.
I can't imagine what they look like under there. It must be horrible because they're
It's moving under there.
I
Indeed,
have
I
a bad
touched-
feeling about this. The bearded lady said that we were in danger.
Hmm. And I believe her.
We certainly didn't seem like we were in danger.
What did she say exactly?
I said to her, blinked twice, if you're in danger, and she said, you're the ones in danger. Which is very concerning.
She's seemed very nervous during the
I
interview.
do not want to attend this freak show, this circus.
Well, then again, I mean, this is a woman with some sort of, profound hormonal disorder. I don't imagine that the staff of the freak show in general are the most sound individuals.
If
Probably
I'm
half of
doing
them
this,
come
I'm doing
from
this for
Bedward.
Giles. I'm doing this for Giles.
I thought maybe you'd want to ride the contraption.
Absolutely not.
Well,
Again,
I don't know what you're all about, but
I saw their physical shape shift underneath their clothes in
Oh.
no natural way.
Which reminds me, of course, of that poor broken creature on the
Yeah.
riverbank. Well, let's get lunch and check in with Mrs. Fawcett. Perhaps Giles is home already. It's not as though she'd come and find us. If he'd fallen asleep on a streetcar or some
So,
such.
he's not one to get drunk. But at the same time, that's a good reason why, if he did drink too much, that he probably got very drunk, not knowing his own limits.
Hmm.
I can, now you're doing the clown thing because your mouth was moving, but I couldn't hear a thing you said.
If only their mouths moved, if only we could see their faces, it would be... I thought at first when we saw them at a distance that it was odd they were grease paint all day, which would be awful for the complexion. But those wooden masks, and they seem to be all identical.
well,
I mean,
not quite.
Oh, no?
One couldn't keep their foot still, and this one was also, again, moving under their clothing.
Yeah, I meant the masks were identical, which in its own right takes considerable artisanship. But yes, they're not all the same height. Their costumes are very alike. At any rate, I could use...
I think that you all should travel more. I've seen very interesting things in Africa. There's lots of tribes that wear masks, and they have different
probably wear them all
cultures.
day.
Well,
You
I
really do
don't
like
know.
to play the devil's advocate, don't you?
You in Africa.
Well, if you do stop by the Fawcett home, because it's really truly not that far, you find that Giles has not shown his face at all. And Annie is getting more and more concerned. She's happy to, you can have whatever you want for lunch. She's not prepared anything. But
no, we'd go out, of course.
yes.
Well, and the
Curry.
good news, Mrs. Fawcett, is that we haven't found Giles as of yet. There was one unfortunate who died somehow or other in the Commons last night, but it was certainly not Giles. And since they found a body and it's not him, then presumably he is not to be found. He's run off on some astonishing errand or another. You know, he's whimsical, and we'll continue to investigate the matter.
Oh, okay, thank you.
But in the meantime, please avoid the circus.
Okay. Yeah, she'll take your advice.
Should I bring a kosh for self-defense? I feel very uneasy about this.
Oh, right. So we see Annie. Giles is still missing. We have lunch. There's hours. Well, I guess the festival probably starts about lunchtime.
Yeah. After you start after lunch, you can see that some of them are starting, and you would know because you talked with Max that he's got a show coming up kind of middle afternoon. This death-defying escape sort of thing.
Yeah, it might be interesting to see how he manages that. We have tickets, and I guess this must be the last day of the fair if he gave me a ticket for the fortune telling.
Well, that's odd. No, it isn't, but you're pretty sure that he'll let you in. In fact, you distinctly remember that 8 o'clock you're gonna show up there.
You seem to have a kinship with him. You said that he was a very pleasant man. Maybe you're going to be his new best friend.
We did rather get on. He's a jolly, admirable, warm sort of fellow.
I found the whole experience quite pleasant. I don't think that the circus has anything to do with anything. And let's see if something much more unfortunate has happened to poor Giles. Let's look
I'll
in
have
the
to talk to
alleyways.
my men and see if they found anything in the meantime.
Yeah. Well, we'll kind of fast forward a little bit through the afternoon. Is there anything other people are doing as we're doing these checks?
We'd probably all want to freshen up at this point and
That's fair. Easy enough to do.
Change our black clothes into our other black clothes.
Detective, they have not heard any news of Giles, but they also haven't found a body, so that's, kind of good news. I believe, Morris, you were getting a weapon of some kind. That's assuming you have it. Easy enough to do. Yeah,
just a kosh, self-defense.
Yeah, but try as you might, you're just not finding anything about Giles. It truly is like he disappeared in the middle of the night.
Yeah, we'll check back at the university, see if he's shown up or what is Giles? What is Giles?
He's
a bookseller, yes.
Check his shop.
Yeah. You do find his assistant there, and they're just kind of bemused, like, I don't know, like, hasn't shown up for work today.
Didn't have a plan to travel and pick something up or nothing?
Yeah, they have. There's a lot of just confusion. Can everyone do spot hiddens?
It's like you vanished from the face of the earth. Pass.
That's the first roll I've passed, I think.
Extreme again, 12.
All right.
Fail.
Actually, I got a hard.
Okay.
Now that I look.
Very good. Hard and over. As you are exiting some of these places, you realize that there is a clown just down the street looking in your direction, and as soon as you see it, it turns and leaves.
Did you see that?
One of those freaks again. Yeah.
One of the clowns. I swear he was looking in our direction.
Well, they're probably observing our movement.
Yeah, they're traveling performers. They probably take in surroundings as they move from town to town.
Well, I mean, I've been their advocate, but now that seems highly suspicious. Why would they follow us around town? He was looking at us, and now when he saw me look that direction, he turned and moved away quickly.
You want to Kosh?
I'm a man of God. I don't hit people with koshes.
Yes, you can be a crusader.
You can protect me.
I don't think that a mute person with deformities makes a very good informant. I imagine they're just sightseeing. I can't tell what direction they're looking because they wear wooden masks. I can't see their eyes.
They're not dumb.
People would
picked up on subtext very quickly.
It's creepy as hell, darling.
No, they're not deaf, but they are stumm. As far as we know.
Now you think they're creepy?
Well, that's creepy. I was very empathetic to their plight.
We don't know if they can write.
And you guys are talking about them, and one of them just kind of peeks its head around the corner again.
Pugsley!
And back, and then it's back.
Well, what are we... Let's just grab one of the blighters and force them to tell us what's going on.
They are quite big.
If they're around town.
If they were to be in a narrow alley spying on us and we could take one of their masks off, I'd be curious to see. Felix, is there any way you could make an inquiry into someone going missing in Stilton last month?
I can certainly ask around, but it will take us some time to get the information.
If you can have somebody send a wire, I'd be curious. I mean, it might help you name that unfortunate who washed ashore.
Yeah, and we'll include that in your time at the station kind of inquiring. I think they have a role for that. Do a library use check. Or if you have like a law skill of some kind, feel free to substitute.
It's 5 points better than library use, yeah.
All right.
Not even close.
Yeah. It'll just take some time. Yeah. It wouldn't be this.
They don't have a wiring station.
Yep.
Or it's malfunctioning.
Yep. All right. So what are people doing? And then let's take a short break.
Well, I'm creeped out. I'm conflicted between my desire to help people in need and having strange clown-faced people walking about town watching what I'm doing. I don't like that at all. That does seem very suspicious. Perhaps I am wrong. Something I'm not very often willing to admit.
We have been warned by other people at the fair about this troop. We've been warned by people inside of the troop not to get out of there as long as we can. And now they're following us. And we have seen very strange things. Do we want to go again?
We have free tickets.
I'm gonna be sticking with you guys, you gentlemen.
Yes, let's not be separated.
Do you think this is related to Giles?
Well, the thing,
yes,
because he was traveling directly between two residences with this in between, and it's it's all very out of the ordinary.
I think if they wanted to grab him, they could.
But why? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know what is going on there.
The money in his pockets?
It's an entire troop of deranged people.
Eleazar, you did not go and look at the body we found.
No.
It was unusual and disturbing.
You said it was skin over bones, but
quite
no
horrible.
meat.
No blood, no viscera, no organs, nothing.
In my younger days, when we were in Africa, we often hunted animals, and there was a policy amongst the local people there that you don't waste anything. But I've seen them remove the meat from an animal, and you can't do it unless you cut
Remove
the skin. So what you're describing is very strange indeed.
Yes, they took the air out of the balloon, but the balloon was intact. With bones
What a horrible
inside.
image that now I have that in my head when I go to sleep tonight.
Cartwright, did you keep any of those larvae? How long did they take to hatch?
I'll roll zoology because I do not know off the top of my head.
And I will roll Google search.
And I will say, did you wash your hands?
Why would anyone wash their hands, for heaven's sakes?
Well,
Doctors don't wash their hands.
I
Why should they?
rolled an 80 against my 73 in zoology, so I'm not entirely sure, but I don't believe they take a long time.
Yes, a few days.
Okay.
So you're not sure exactly, but a few days.
Yes, but they're parasite. They live off of. They feed on mammals.
Could the botfly larvae have eaten the muscles and the soft tissue and left the skin?
But why would they? They wouldn't leave the skin. I don't know why they would leave the skin.
Maybe it's tougher than the internal organs and easier. I don't know. I'm not a zoologist.
Oh, this is getting into crazy territory. We
blowflies,
need to
not botflies.
Learn more.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're just flies. They're just flies.
They're just flies.
Then.
Yep.
Do you tell us about how you can see the movement underneath?
I told you, yeah.
I felt it.
One fellow's leg was doing all sorts of odd things.
It's quite unnerving.
It's damn.
But I don't know
odd.
what you're implying. Some sort of that they're not people.
Well,
they seem like people.
Have you seen their faces?
Guys. Yeah.
It's like saying I'm not a human because you've almost never seen the top of my head.
They don't show any skin in the bright daylight for the whole day.
You're saying that again. The thing kind of pokes its head out.
I wink him over.
How close is it?
About a block away, and it kind of does the like.
Maybe it wants us to come to it. Maybe it wants to tell us a secret.
Okay.
Like your bearded woman. Yeah, let's go over to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
You want to use that as the breaking point?
Yep. Perfect. You start to follow the clown.
All right. Be back in a minute.
5 minutes later.
All right. Well, the group as a whole follows the clown to the corner. And you can see in the time that it's taken you to get there, it has moved down the street. And it's not running, but it's kind of doing a fast walk. But you can see that it kind of has the Kaiser Soze walk, where it's not very even, right? There's like some odd movement to it, but it's doing a decent pace.
Do people on the street respond to the curious sight?
Yeah, they're looking like, why is there a clown out? But
yes, if it lurches past some, say, something like a pair of burly construction workers ahead of us, I'll call out, "Oh, stop that fellow!"
Okay, make a fast talk, persuade, something along those lines.
Fast talk is perhaps Martin's best skill, which a 99 does not make relevant.
They they kind of turn. They look at the clown as it goes past, and they turn and look at you. We couldn't catch him. He was too fast.
Yeah, thanks for trying.
No problem. They take a bite of their sandwich. They're from New York.
I say,
Apparently.
Pugsley,
Visiting
slow down.
Brooklyners.
Yeah.
Pugsley, slow down.
Yeah, and it doesn't. It turns another corner. But Perry, you're pretty sure that that's a dead end. Like, you know the city pretty well as a
Yeah.
detective.
Well, he can't get much from there, so let's follow him.
And you can see he's kind of turned down this like trash-filled alleyway. Like there's cans off to the side of that, and you can see it's gotten to the end of the street, and it's just standing there with its back to you. It's just kind of staring at the wall, not moving.
I'll start approaching it.
I'm gonna stand on the main street. I'm not entering an alleyway.
I'm walking along with Cartwright.
Okay.
And I'll call out ahead of them. Say, fellow, no reason to run off. We just want to have a word with you. Max McClellan is a great friend of ours.
And what's Eleazar doing? Is he
I'm
going up or staying put?
sort of in between there. I'm coming into the alley. I'm like, I was going to yell out something, but he already did, so I didn't need to.
Okay. All right. We're gonna do two things here. We'll start with the professor. You are getting up to him. He's not responding to Martin's calls. He's just kind of staring. He's really close to that wall. It's a bit
His
unnerving
back
how
to
he's
us?
just, yeah. But as Professor Cartwright gets there, it turns around and looks at you. And where did you said you kept some of those larvae, the pupa, right? Or did you?
I
Can't remember if we said you did or not. So
I never
did you?
said I'd put them down. I don't know. Have I just had carrying fly?
Do you have
I
a,
don't know, we
a
walked
glass?
all around
a glass
the-
of flies, maybe?
Maybe you could
Well,
have like a little
Jar?
carry and
a
something, maybe.
vial?
Well, I'll settle it with luck roll, eh?
Sure.
Is there? I mean, maybe I drop them,
you
but some
tell-
of them are like
yeah.
on my sleeve or something.
Yeah, you tell me what you think would be lucky here. Is lucky you don't have them or lucky you do have them?
I think lucky. I don't like that question. I'll say if I pass, I have some. Like some have are on my sleeve
Yeah,
or something. Like
yeah.
they've been crawling
Probably
around
on
and I
your
haven't noticed
probably
them.
on your pants a little bit too, where
Yeah.
you waded in. Yeah.
Mhm.
In your cuff? Yeah.
Nope, I do not.
Okay. It turns around and it looks you up and down. And can Wilson and Martin give me I would say alertness usually, but that's not really a thing in this. So spot hidden, I suppose.
An extreme success.
91.
Oh, excellent. Wilson, you don't see this. Martin, you see a couple of your good fellow buddy clowns are just kind of rounding the bend, and these ones have a much more like purposeful stride
So
and strong. Yeah.
they're gonna
So-
like pincer us in the alleyway.
Yeah. Martin.
Oh,
thinks so.
I was standing on the street, so
No,
but I
that's
don't
what
see
I'm
it.
saying. You're on the street, but yeah, maybe you're too focused on as this clown is coming up to Cartwright, and it's kind of looking you over, and yeah, it's kind of brushing you. It kind of wants to see your hand. It kind of mimes that.
What? I not knowing what else to do. I do this.
Yeah, and it holds your hand, and it's weirdly strong as it's
Ooh.
got your wrist, and it just kind of gets its mask down real close
Hey,
to your
hey,
hand.
I'm gonna start
going
trying to struggle
interfere.
free at this point. No,
Okay.
no.
And
What the deuce are you doing?
as the two other circus
Un-
pals come into the alleyway, I'll say, "Oh, well met, good fellows. Do the work on your mask, the sculpting, wood is very difficult, I understand. Can I see one of those up close?" And I'll reach toward, the fellow on the left.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, now Wilson, you see them on the street. There's sounds of like something brewing in the alley. You're distracted both ways. In fact, Martin, you start reaching, and one of them holds up a empty mask, just a spare.
Oh, magnificent. It's painted just like theirs.
Mhm.
I'll turn it over in my hands. It does appear to be wood.
It does appear to be wood, but that's kind of odd when you look at the back of it. Have you ever seen like kind of termite eaten wood? It's got like all the little holes in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are little holes all on the inside of that, and you can see kind of poking out of them are little maggots just kind of going in and out of these holes. Do a sand roll if you would.
I would. 57 is good. Ooh.
All right.
Skin, yeah. Well, not that close. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, so
you're
holding.
Take one?
Yeah, take one. It's quite disturbing to look at.
Yeah. Especially the idea of putting that on one's face.
Well, that's
rather
odd
off-putting.
because the one next to you is certainly mimicking like put it on. And the other one has an extra clown outfit just with it.
You fellows do come prepared. Did you meet my friend Giles by any chance?
They don't respond to that.
He's tallish, and I'm looking at their height and imagining Giles.
Yeah, do another God, I keep wanting to do Delta Green stuff. Do a spot hidden.
26. Good.
Okay.
Yeah, not quite a hard. Could be.
Yeah, the one that handed you the mask is probably about the right size. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In fact, yeah.
Build is impossible because of these lumpy suits.
Yeah.
Hey, Morris, do you think these likely to match Giles in size? Lean around them a little bit
I'll look them up and down with my engineering eye.
Well, yeah, that looks about the right size for Giles. But they're getting real close to you too, and we'll jump back.
I will back up.
You're
into the main
away.
street.
Okay. Sounds like you're pulling away from this clown that's got your hand. And
yes, unhand me. I'm just like
I'll try to push in between them.
Yeah, do a strength check, the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Okay. 51 is not a pass. I am an old fellow.
I can make it hard.
That would be enough then, is you are able to interpose yourself between this, and as you pull, you kind of like step into it, you feel the arm move underneath your hand as you push against it. So do another sanity check.
Well, 53 is the pass for sanity.
Okay.
No.
Barely.
No. Do another D4.
But I've already seen it move, so is it really new information?
I would say touching it is the problem here.
Okay, I completely agree.
Do I just lose one for a pass?
Yeah, just one for a pass.
2 for me. Yeah.
All right.
So
But it does let go at that point.
okay, I
Oh,
still
I'm
try to
retreating.
like a police grip, so I try to grasp it further, and then I instantly retreat when I feel that it's squishy and there's no shape to it underneath the clothing. So,
Mhm.
and then I get Cartwright. We need to go. We need to go now.
I'm moving as fast as my move rate of 5 allows me.
I drag him along.
I am not quick.
And this thing is kind of advancing on you out of the alleyway. Wilson, you're saying you want to get out of there on the street. These two are really next to you, and that's weird. Who could have guessed there'd be two more coming down the street at a brisk pace? Looks like they have more. They're like one of them is holding a veritable pile of clown outfits.
All right. That's really bad. I'm still gonna walk away.
That's what cautious are for, dude.
You're
The,
trying to.
Do you alert us in the
Yeah,
alleyway?
I will. There's more clowns.
Call for fire. Call for the police.
Help!
All right.
The
Shout for
clown
help.
near me who handed me the beautiful mask that has the
Mhm.
horrible worms writhing in it. I'm going to, again, the one who's Giles size, I'm going to grab his wooden mask
Mhm.
and yank
Okay.
if I can get my hand on his mask.
You can. You reach up against it and you pull. And there is a bit of a ripping kind of sensation from it. And the mask pulls down. You can see it's got that same back, the kind of wormy wood. And you see the eyeless face of Giles peering out from you. His eyes are kind of drooping open, but empty behind them. His mouth is like that, but you don't see a tongue. You just see writhing maggots within.
Oh.
And he's reaching to put his mask on you. Do a sanity roll, please.
Okay, well.
This is an important one.
Amazingly, again, I passed 59.
All right, just one.
I'm whittling away, but I fail every other test, but not sanity tests. We found Giles, sort of.
All
So
right. Yeah.
since I'm like right behind Martin when this starts to happen, when he pulls that mask off, I'll do a sanity roll, but I'm just going
Please.
to, I'm not a fighter at all, but I'm going to punch right into Giles's face. Oh, 92 on sanity.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a d8.
Oof. 8.
All right. All right.
Do I need to roll intelligence?
I believe that does call for an intelligence roll.
Oh, I got 19. That's a pass.
Okay.
Maybe I'm just too full of adrenaline.
Is that if I believe a pass?
No, if it's
on
a
that
it's a
is
pass,
bad,
you understand.
right?
Yeah, that's about a madness.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Yes. You have the bout of madness chart, correct?
I do.
Somebody have that
Want me
handy?
to roll it?
Yes, please.
4 is amnesia. I am going to forget everything that happened in the past day. That doesn't seem like it would happen at this point.
Giles? How you've changed.
I think it'd be probably more like hysteria.
I like that. Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
go with that.
I'm going to start screaming and flailing about. So I'm trying to hit the thing away from Martin and Arthur.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and do a brawl roll of some kind. It's your flailing.
Missionary fighting. Yeah, I fail. I'm just flailing.
Well, the worst part is you're connecting and you get a couple knocks in at the face, but it really pushes a lot further in than it should. And you're seeing, when you pull your fist back, there's a few maggots just kind of squirming around, on you at this point.
In a bout of madness, so.
Yep. Down in the alley, Perry and Cartwright, this one is kind of coming after you. Yeah. It's not fast, but you can see at the other end of the alley that Phillips and De Silva are having a really rough time.
I'm almost twice the speed of Cartwright. So if I see that he's getting away from the clown, I'm going to go help them.
You said you had a move of 5, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, go ahead and do a dex check of some kind. I think we'll handle it that way.
This is the saddest chase ever.
This one's, well, it really truly is.
No.
How'd you do?
Oh my god. Failure.
Well, it failed too. So I think
this
I like
really
this.
Is truly the saddest chase
it's just
ever.
kind of like you can feel it touching your back as you're going, but right, okay. Perry, you're a little ahead, maybe, or are you?
But if I can
out?
see that it is getting him,
it's a little Austin Powers steamroll chase, but yes, you can see.
Then I'm going to tackle it.
All right, make a brawl.
Oh no. This guy's not a brawler.
All right. I mean, you hit it and you spin it. You felt something tear in it, but it just kind of sags off to the side. And you can see one of its legs now, especially, has a lot of extra stuff in it. Like something maybe fell into the leg area. So it's a little slower, but you're both right up next to it. Morris, you're leaving.
Yep. I'm drawing the kosh, and then I'm just backing away.
Okay. One of these clowns is getting up in your face. You can see it's got a number of masks. In fact, 4 of them that it is holding with it. And it looks like it is just...
I will strike out.
All right.
Like a feeble old man.
Get unstable.
I failed.
All right. You're hitting it, and it's getting closer and closer. And we'll do that one first. We'll resolve this thing. I'm glad it's not Delta Green. You can feel it's trying to get the mask on your face, and you can feel little nips of something like nip, 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 like little bits, little teeth, but it slides off, like it can't quite get it, and it kind of goes off to the side.
Oh, I'm screaming. Like, what about everyone else on this main street?
Yeah, everyone started. Yes, there's a lot of screaming. People are noticing. They're noticing a bunch of clowns walking towards people.
The clowns are just going to everyone now.
Well, there's not quite enough of them, you don't think? And they really, like, they passed other people. They're coming towards you. But you do hear a few, like, get the police. People are being attacked. Do you think it's part of the show? And yeah, there's some people that are kind of like, I think it's just part of a show. It's like an advertisement. Probably not the ones that can see what Martin is seeing. So let's cut back to Eleazar and Martin. You've seen your dear friend.
It's Giles. Giles, do you recognize us?
Don't talk to it. I'm still just doing this. So.
Yeah.
It's his face, though. You believe in souls. Maybe he's in there.
And his mouth just kind of yawns open. You see some maggots kind of crawl out and hit the ground as it's pushing now this mask towards your face as well.
No, we need fire to kill these things. And I shove it.
Yeah, do a brawl roll.
No, how's my brawl? Not bloody good, Oh, my roll's 81. I only pass sanity checks, honestly.
Oh boy.
You will die completely sane.
As this thing as well is pushing, but apparently once again it's having trouble gaining purchase, so you're also feeling those little teeth trying to get at you. And Eleazar,
good thing they're so mushy.
Yeah, it really is. This thing's still in front of you. It seems mostly concerned with Martin, though, at the moment.
Yeah, I have a lighter on my person somewhere. I bet his filthy, oily garments are a bit flammable.
Yeah.
So that's my next
overwhelming
gambit.
Scent of perfume.
Oh, yeah, covering up the stench of rot.
How is Eleazar doing over there?
Well, I'm going to be hysterical for 8 rounds.
Oh.
So can I do luck rolls to see if a punch lands?
Sure. Yeah. I'm down with that.
20, that is a luck pass. So
all right.
One of my punches hits.
Yeah, and the mask that it was trying to then get onto Martin clatters onto the ground.
If it's near my feet, I'll stomp it, and then I'll keep punching.
All right. Yeah, it lands near your feet. You stomp it, and it cracks like kind of dry wood underneath your thing. You smush its big frown. But yeah, there's stuff crawling out of it as you're looking.
For God's sakes, dance on them.
Now my feet are doing this one. Sweet.
As you're punching at your friend Giles, who doesn't seem too worried, mostly just looking at the mask on the ground, if you can call it that, with its empty eyes. Perry and Cartwright, you're in the alley.
We need to run.
Yeah, we need to get out of here.
I'm going as fast as I can.
I try to buy him time.
do a dex check with a bonus, then we'll say. I think that makes sense.
So 88 and then 68. So no, I'm not getting anywhere.
Can't I just pick him up and carry him?
Well, I think that makes sense. You've got that, and he's heavy. And you realize, well, he's not that heavy. It's probably that hand that's clamped around his ankle that, you're dragging this clown along with, and its mask is starting to fall off, and you can see behind it now. Both of you do a sanity check.
I can pass the sanity roll.
And this one is much closer to the body you saw in the water. Its nose is just kind of flat at this point, just kind of wiggling around. And it's definitely been.
Is it a D4 or a D6 on a fail?
It's a D6 because you didn't care as much about this guy.
It's 2. Getting very, very close to my
1 point on a pass.
Yeah, 1 point on a pass. Yes.
I just can't get away physically, but mentally I'm fine.
You're making good progress out of the alley. It's just you're also dragging this clown behind you. Yeah. Cutting back, Morris. What are you doing? This thing's got
I'm
this
gonna
mask.
Smack his hand in the mask with the kosh.
All right.
Or at least attempt to.
Do a brawl. And it's gonna see. I'm gonna roll.
No, I failed. 81.
You hit something there, and it also tried to put the mask on you again. It's dropping these other ones. Like it's not as clumsy as the one in the alley, but it's still coming for you.
I don't
But it
want
rolled,
this.
it rolled also terribly, so it just kind of clacks it down to the ground. But you're just trying to fight it. Eleazar, Martin, you're there. It looks like you're not having much luck at actually hurting Giles. Maybe there's something in him still. It's tough to say.
Once again, I'm still irrationally just screaming and fighting. I'm going to try to kick the one that's grabbing Cartwright. Luck.
Go for it.
Let's see if I kick it. 34. How much luck? Yeah. Oh yeah, I pass.
All right. So you give a nice kick to Giles, and he kind of falls back. He's pretty solid under there, though. Like
But does
you
he
see
let
these
go
other
of-
ones, yeah. Yes, he lets go, and the mask is on the ground. He looks a little like slow and confused. The others seem mostly concerned with Morris at the moment, since he tried to make a break for it. Martin, yeah, you just see nice solid kick.
Sorry. I'm very sorry, Giles. There's I think but they say the soul is in the eyes, and no longer. I'm gonna fall into the street from the alley and say, assault, murder,
Yep.
help, police.
All right.
I need troops here, and I don't have the ability to make a flamethrower on my person.
All right. And that is we'll finish up with the two in the alley. But Martin, you're hearing footsteps kind of coming along the street. Maybe your calls did work. But Perry and Cartwright, this thing is just latched onto Cartwright.
I'm kicking at it. This wildly.
Oh, this is probably a little further back in the alley still.
So I just carry, and
Okay.
Cartwright needs to either lose his shoe or his life.
Oh, can I just kick it?
Sure, yeah. Go ahead and give a kick.
I say, given that everything I've tried to do has been so successful.
I think
Yeah,
this
no.
is your moment. All right.
No.
You kick at it, and it just strengthens its grip. 1 second. And finally, I roll decent. Take 2 damage as you can feel your ankle just kind of twisting in its grasp. But you are all now. So now, to kind of set the scene, Wilson, you're out in the street. You've got one couple of them a little further away with more stuff coming your way. You've got Eleazar and Martin, Eleazar, I can't do that right, are both at the kind of the mouth of the street. Giles has been knocked away, so you think you can probably get away from him. Cartwright and Perry burst out, dragging along this clown that's falling apart internally. And you're hearing people just running up the street. It sounds like I don't suppose they have like little sirens that they go wee wee, but you hear there you go. Yeah, you hear whistles.
Bells and yeah.
Yep, there you go. It's very obvious the police will be here in a second.
Yeah, if it's possible, I'll stomp on the thing that's still holding on to Cartwright.
Go for it. Yeah.
Filthy business that. White team. That's regular success only for my poor brawling.
All right. Where do you stomp it?
It's got one claw around an ankle. Is that right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I'm going for the shoulder neck. I want to separate the intelligence from the clutching.
Excellent. You give a kick, and your foot sinks into the clown, like past the frill into it, like you're partway through, but it lets go and just kind of collapses. As the group, you see the remaining clowns, Wilson, you're right by them. They just all kind of stop and look at the upcoming police, and they start to book it. They run, including Giles. However, the one that Martin is in just stops moving and falls to the ground, and you can start to see from like the spot where he put it and around the mask that had kind of fallen off, they just start to crawl out, these maggots, just a little swarm of them leaving.
Yeah. Well, dancing the cucaracha and also picking up my foot and smacking my ankle, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're on there.
Ugh.
Do we have one of the masks at least?
Yes, yeah.
Hmm.
You have the one that is currently dispersing. There's a broken one. It does look like Wilson, the ones that ran away by you, grabbed the masks as they went. So there aren't those, but you have 2 masks at this point.
Do they seem to be attracted to the masks, or are they only attracted to warm flesh?
Difficult to say. They did seem to want to put the masks on you. That seemed to be a key thing. And that's about the point now. You've got the police kind of running up, and they start going, the kind of the classic, somebody's at a fire, somebody's at an attack. What's going on?
Yeah. I put out my badge and get this mob in order.
The clowns from the fair.
They're attacking people.
Jeez.
They've got some kind of disease.
Lepers.
They're trying to spread it.
No, they're plague worms. You can see there. Don't let them.
Oh, God.
We need to round them up
themselves
in an orderly fashion and clean this garbage out of our town.
But don't let them get those things on you. They're monsters. They're dangerous. They're insane.
They broke my ankle, I think, or twisted it. Oh God, I can barely move.
I'm going to go over and help cart right up.
Yeah, it hurts. You can put your weight on it, but it hurts. That's kind of the level you are there.
Oh, it's not broken, but I'm going to complain about it nonstop. Oh my God.
All right,
like a true academic.
First aid on him, actually.
Yeah. Detective Perry, I think it makes sense. You've kind of taken charge here. Can you do a persuade roll?
Can I do charm instead?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, charm is a good one. That's a hard success.
That is good. They don't call for the sanitarium crew as you're telling them about these clowns that attacked you. You get a lot of pushback from the ones that are there because you just have a dead body that very clearly one of you stepped in. They don't seem to believe that this gross maggot thing, like there's nothing in the body when they start looking at it. Like it couldn't have moved.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not hauling you in, but they don't seem to buy what you're selling.
Okay. So that's another detective then? Somebody who's on my level. Okay.
We'll say Detective Montgomery. Yeah. You know him. He's pretty stable, but he's kind of looking at you like he thinks you might have lost your mind.
Montgomery, look, listen to me. A friend of ours got missing near that circus. We started investigating. The clowns started following us. They attacked us, and then they threw this thing, and I pointed the corpse, at us. So they at least had a dead body decomposing there, and they threw it at us, and then they bailed once you got here. We need to get them now before they leave town.
Okay, yeah, I suppose we can talk with them. Yeah, and I mean, you have a couple of the masks. This is very, very odd. Well, yeah, we'll send. I'll go. We'll get a couple constables. We'll
Don't
come.
go alone. We need to take care of Cartwright's wounds.
Okay. Yeah, we'll go check it out, and we'll see.
Oh, be terribly careful. They're so strong.
It's like rabies.
Oh, yeah. Gross. Don't want that. They will be cautious, is what they say. But they do kind of give you the like, let's step back for a moment. Let's keep brushing the body off of yourself there, De Silva. You know, it's quite a mess.
Yeah, God, we can't tell Annie the truth.
They do seem to think we're quite ridiculous.
What do we do about the circus?
Well, they can't let it go on sucking
Obviously,
innocents into it.
There's some of them that are still us, still human.
Yeah.
But those clown things.
But they said they were safe in there.
Everyone's
Do you think they made
afraid
some
of them.
sort of? Do you think they made some sort of deal with it? With them?
Maybe they're being held against their will.
You said the bearded woman was quite frightened.
Correct.
For our well-being. It's thoughtful. And yet,
in this
Max
part of the
tried to charm
afternoon,
you.
the shows would be started at this point. So you have gotten to the point where if you were going back during her show, this would be about that time.
we have tickets. It's time to go and see what there's to be seen. We know how dangerous the mute mime beasts are. We know that we have to take any bad news in the end, or perhaps
You're suggesting that we go where the clown things are.
I mean, there are
What do you
innocent people in
recommend?
there right now.
I recommend we all get a steamer and move to another country.
Well, as we used to say in deepest Africa back in my youth,
You're
cowardice is
mocking me.
cowardice. Quite. We have
You
to
almost,
beard the.
we all almost died there.
I felt the things reaching for my flesh. Does that mean we should abandon society and let them run rampant?
What
Go to the colonies? No.
if they were to have put those things on our faces? We would have become what they are, and then we would have gone out and put them on other people. The circus
That's
tonight
rather
could be
the point, is it not? Our responsibility as civilized human beings is to prevent that from occurring.
How do we destroy them?
I think
know.
Martin had it right. Fire would be a way.
Oh.
But there will be people at the carnival, the fair.
We need to get them out.
If there's a fire, people will run because there's a fire.
Mhm. There's only a finite number of these mummers.
Until they put their masks on someone else, and then there's
Well,
more, and then they put theirs on someone else, and there's more.
Where did they get these masks
Could
from?
be
It must be
exponential.
somewhere. Maybe
I
we don't
think
need to burn the exhibition. Maybe we just need to burn their cards.
I think it's the worms.
Yeah.
They nibble even before they touch. That's
Are,
I
how.
really don't want to know, Martin. I
are
really.
we
I'm warning you only.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
are
be
we all
aware.
sure that we weren't infected by even a single worm?
I'll check my ankles carefully.
Make a spot hidden.
29. That's
57. What miserable rolls. I'm not going to spend luck because I don't know I missed something.
Eleazar, you're positive you did not get any on you. Martin, you're not sure. You're just not sure.
Mm. So, you had an idea, I believe, earlier, Morris, to pick up a bit of lead and some leather. Do you know anybody who sells something more?
Is that how you want to make a big fire?
No, well, no. My question is, do you have friends also who sell more antisocial sorts of burning sorts of
There is a big
tools?
steam engine on site. It could be jury-rigged to create a big fire.
Hmm.
Why don't you fill a garden sprayer with kerosene?
Or whale oil.
I'm not sure they'll let me in with a garden sprayer, but I could certainly put some kerosene in a flask or two.
And if I get a toolbox and I smuggle that in, I could do my work.
Wilson,
There are
you
these
could
marvelous
jury-rig
little-
something.
Yes, the steam engine that is currently part of that death trap machine.
So we eat a healthy meal.
There's no
You
time
just
for
had lunch. Well, I guess
It's
there was a
been
little time.
hours.
Afternoon tea. We didn't have to miss that.
We have our tea. We provide ourselves with material. We use the tickets that I was given. We watch the clowns because we know that they're devils, and we can't save Giles.
No, not
What's
anymore.
our goal is to destroy the sort of nest of these worms.
Yes,
right?
yes. We can avenge Giles.
There's nothing I saw in Max's card. He might not even be aware.
You think so?
He's spreading them across the country.
That's what I'm also thinking, yeah.
I think the bearded woman is probably against them. She was warning us even then.
Yeah. The way that she worded some things like, we are happy that he still keeps us around, seems to be like they are being kept as an optional side dish for them if they run out of people to carry the masks.
I don't know why we can't raise an entire crowd and go in there with torches and burn the whole damn thing, like in the old days.
Well, that's not
Pitchforks
how
and
we used to do it in the police, so maybe something that's more in your expertise. I have trouble getting Montgomery to investigate an obvious crime. But we can...
what's to prevent them from putting those worms in the treats and popcorn and good God, they could have already infected half the town.
We don't really know. And we would notice if they would go around and infect towns. I mean,
Well, we can prevent them.
yeah.
You are a lot of talk, Mr. Phillips.
I'm sorry, that's what I was raised to do.
Let's see some action, and I will get my toolbox.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'll try to get some lamp oil, kerosene, something like that.
Envision both of those as easy to do. Cartwright, anything you're looking for?
I'm looking for something very long and sturdy to keep these damn things away from me, and I probably a nice sturdy cane, I think, because I'm going to need it.
Yes. Wonderful.
I'm thinking that given that I have this series of tickets and some of them are timed, if it's true that McClelland is guilty of all this, and I've got a ticket to his fortune-telling show, and it's a racket, I know. Perhaps I should bring someone along, or one or two of you should be outside if I go in for that. If he presents me a wormy mask, I might need assistance. If he gives something else away, or is in fact, as he may be, a victim of the same kind of sickness, then it might be a chance for us to find out what's happened. It's a thought.
I'll go with you, Martin.
Yeah, that's the benefit of faith after all.
All right. So it sounds like you've gathered things. I'm sorry, Eleazar, is there anything you wish to gather as well?
Gather my wits. I don't know. I'd like to spray them all with kerosene, light them all on fire, but I think Wilson's already handling that, and I'm just going to go with Martin. I'm going to grab Martin and run like hell if I even see a mask or a. He's called me a coward earlier, but the coward wins. The coward gets away. I just don't want to see him eaten by worms. I don't want to see anyone eaten by worms.
It's a little late for that, to be fair. But all right. Then the group is able to gather their things easily enough and head out to the fairgrounds again, where you see Maximus there. You see now at this point the steam engine is going, it's whirling people around. The clowns are still walking around. You do notice a couple of them look like they've maybe been hit a couple times. You can see some scuff marks on the uniforms that you would recognize, but they seem kind of back in the business of keeping things moving, keeping people moving through lines. There are still a few walking around, we'll say 3 of them walking around the caravan area. Those don't look like they have a purpose other than maybe keeping watch. So, listening, it sounded like Martin and Eleazar, you're going where?
Well, I have an appointment with
Max.
with Max at 8 p.m. It's probably before that we enter the field, so we can just do the rounds.
Perfect. Yeah, and you're able to get past the ticket guy after, I assume you buy your tickets, other than Martin, of course.
Oh, he didn't give us all tickets.
No.
Yeah, okay.
Martin
I'll
got
buy tickets.
Okay. Yeah. They're easy enough. You get your tickets, and they're not selling fortune-telling tickets. Looks like Martin's the only one with those.
And it's got a date upon it.
Did you say that we see
An hour.
a Max?
You do actually see Max, because he is in the middle of the freak show tent. You can kind of distantly hear him talking in front of this Iron Maiden. It sounds like he's riling up the crowd for this great escape, and you can see he's got that clown with the limp from earlier standing up there with him.
I would like to use psychology to see what he does when he sees us alive.
Okay. You'll have to kind of have to go into the tent past the individual, and he looks down at you, and make a roll.
22, and that's on psychology, which I actually have pretty high, I think.
Yeah.
Psychology. I've got 75, so
Ooh.
that it's a hard. I could make it an extreme.
There's a moment of surprise and maybe a touch of fear in there, but he covers it up quickly, and you can, with such a good roll, you can definitely see like the gears are turning, but he keeps going through this. He seems to be distracted with this great escape, and you can see he's kind of gearing up this clown to go into the Iron Maiden.
So I lean over towards Martin and I say, he knows.
He did seem to recognize you. I assumed that the escape would involve himself. If he's putting one of those creatures into the machine, it probably doesn't
Won't have
matter
any
what
effect at all.
happens to it.
Yeah, nothing will happen to it. If the Nuremberg Virgin's knives go into it, it'll just.
It would have been Giles another day. I don't think I can stay. I'll go outside.
Let's both go outside. That'll make him nervous that now he doesn't know where we are.
Very good.
Sound idea.
The other three. What are you
So I'm with Felix. I'm gonna lean in. Do you have a service revolver?
No,
Anything? Okay,
they don't. Police doesn't do that here.
got it. So as long as I can get to that steam engine, I can do some tinkering and have that start a big fire, but they're going to be on alert, so I might need someone fast to provide a distraction from the clowns. Otherwise, they'll just grab me. You know me. I've got my leg. It's attached to someone useless.
So I have this kerosene here. I'll make a fire outside. Nothing too major, but it would draw attention.
Yeah, hopefully that will get the clown's attention. What are you doing, Cartwright?
I'm not staying by myself, that's for damn sure.
Why don't you come along with me?
Yeah, Martin and the laser went back into that Elazar went into that horrible tent, so I will come with you.
Okay, you can be my eyes while I do the mechanical tinkering.
Excellent. I'm going to need stealth rolls, I think, from the three of you, just to keep it spicy.
Oh, it might get too hot.
I'm going to spend 1 point of luck to pass.
Time to spend 42 luck. Yep.
Well, he's jangling from all of the tools.
Yep.
Yeah, that way we won't have any luck for when he's screwing with a steam engine.
Yeah, don't worry.
So,
I'm great.
Detective Perry, how'd you do?
I haven't rolled anything yet, so
yeah, roll stealth, because you're kind of trying to get back there to
Stealth,
start
okay,
a little
yeah.
fire, yeah.
a 94 is
All right.
not really a success.
Do you want to spend 42 points of luck?
I would need to spend. So even if I spend all my 50 points of luck that I have left, it would not be a success. But
So
then again, I want to be seen.
yeah, that's good. That is very
Okay.
good because you've got your kerosene bits. You're kind of out by the caravans, and you can see that two of these clowns break away from the caravan and start heading your direction.
Mhm.
They seem pretty focused on you. What are you gonna do?
I let them come closer. Now that I've seen how they move and how they fight, Felix feels a bit more confident. And he would try to get kerosene on them and set them on fire. They get close enough.
Okay, very good. So go ahead. What's your dex at? This should be fairly
Dex
straightforward.
is terrible, but strength is great. So 45 dex.
All right. Well, you can go first. Go ahead
Okay.
and you're tied. So go ahead and go
Okay.
first. What kind of roll are you doing for the kerosene? I don't feel like throw's a good option. That seems a bit much. Tell you what, I like that.
Roll?
I like what Martin you're saying. Zombie decks. I'd say they have to make a dex check not to get hit,
Okay.
and they sure don't do it. So you're
I'm just splattering.
so now it
stuff.
smells like bad perfume, cologne, and kerosene as they're
Yeah.
getting to you, and they're both taking off their masks and going for you.
Okay.
The first one gets a hold of you.
Mhm.
And
Is
the
it
second
dodge or fight
yeah,
back,
go ahead and
or-
you can do a dodge or fight back. Yes.
Yeah,
They're
I
doing
tried to dodge. Yeah.
good idea. Solid.
20 is I can make it a hard for 1 point of luck.
You would need to do that. Yes.
Good.
As they very nearly get this mask onto your face, and again, you've got that little bit.
First
that you
time for Felix.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're feeling that.
Now I know what Martin was talking about, and I really didn't want to know.
We'll cut back to Eleazar and Martin. You've walked out of the tent. You can see Morris and Cartwright are making their way towards the machine, and you can probably also you know where the caravans are. You can see Perry starting to slosh something.
They're getting kind of close to Felix. Maybe we should go help.
He looks like he's okay. I don't know. The feeling that I have from the cards is that I have to meet McClellan at when he tries to read a fortune. Before that and after that, I'm not sure.
I'm busy looking towards Felix to see if anything, if he's. I can see him spraying, but I haven't seen him light anything up yet.
Yeah, and you can then see the figures try and get a hold of him and put the mask on, but he's able to slip away.
Okay, but it's a close call, so I'm like, courage, Martin, and I start moving quickly towards where Felix is, just in case they grab him.
Well, it's true. If we see it attacking mummers, we have to go in there.
Yep.
So
very good.
I'll follow.
And I said before, there's like a small wall kind of in between mostly just to keep people out. You're able to get over that very easily. It's more of just, hey, people would notice you doing that. Morris and Cartwright, you have spent dearly to get to this point. So we're gonna let it slide. You get in with your tool set with everything, you also get close enough. You see the machine, it is spinning. There are people on it right now, and there is a clown running it. But he doesn't seem to notice you.
This is for the greater good.
What do you mean? You don't say you're gonna kill all those poor people up spinning up there?
What are we gonna do? Wait for them to abandon this place at 8 p.m. when we're going to be caught?
You sabotage the machine when they're done. They're not have.
And then the next group
forever.
of people go on.
No, but before it starts spinning, that's when you destroy the machine.
That will increase our chances of getting caught.
You can't be serious.
I am deathly serious.
Wilson, you said you were here to save lives and you're going to kill all those people for what?
Think of how many lives will be lost if those
Zero if you just wait.
If we are caught and we are not able to set this hellish place ablaze, then
well, how about you just
saved.
Wait? If we get caught, then you can do whatever. But how about you just...
If we get caught and then it's too late, the clown will grab me. You've seen me move. I've seen you move.
No, I'm saying if we get caught, you light things on fire anyway.
It takes time to sabotage an engine.
No,
you academics think I can just snap my fingers and then have a bomb or
I don't
fire.
know what you do, but us academics tend to care an awful lot when somebody's just like, we need to kill all these people for the greater good. That's a very troubling approach to life.
And this entire conversation is undercut with yay! As people are whizzing by overhead.
There's a big line waiting for this ride.
Oh yes. This is very popular. It's been built up quite a bit.
I look towards Professor Cartwright, and I move on towards the machine.
All right.
Well, I try to get in his way with my terrible speed.
Right. Don't worry, we have the same speed.
Let's do a contested roll here. Yeah.
Of Dex?
Dex?
Yeah. I think Dex makes sense because it's the funniest, mostly.
No, I fail.
I failed too.
All right. Then you are both at the edge of the crowd.
Oh,
you
my
are
leg.
Fighting. Yes, you are.
Cramps.
Maybe ironically, the same leg on both of you at this point is hurting, and you're both just kind of stumbling against each other. You see the clown at the controls turn towards you. It will cut back outside the caravan. Detective Perry there by you, but you see Martin and Eleazar rolling up, so we'll go with you three first. Yep. What are you doing?
Well, I think that it's probably a little difficult for Felix to hold off two of them. As I'm coming closer, I can probably smell kerosene.
Oh, yes. And you can see that he's clearly splashed them.
I will light my lighter and throw it at the closest clown as I come up.
Okay. It catches and it goes up. And you hear the distinctive whoosh. And what's maybe more disturbing is you start hearing these little pops, like the beep. Yeah. As they start to go up, but they're let me just see.
1,000 little screams.
As they're going up. Perry, you are next to these. Just checking one thing. They're hurting, but they're not dead yet. You think you've got another bit. So Martin and Perry, what are you doing?
I try to get distance between So is only one of them burning?
We'll
Yeah.
say both of them. Well, they were close. I mean, they're both
Okay.
trying to get you. So yeah.
Then I just dodge away, and I'll call out fire to get attention to it, and hopefully get this whole fair to disperse.
Yeah. And it's very obvious. There is a fire now. Right, Martin?
Does it seem at all that if one of the mummers is blazing, that it affects others, or is it just separate puppets?
Do a spot hidden.
Thanks.
Really wish there was an awareness. Really.
I had a successful roll at last.
Wonderful. You do look back very quickly behind you, and it does look like the clowns notice it, but they're not like hurt, but they know.
Mm. They have they have a sense of it going on. Yes. We really need brands and more kerosene because the worms must burn.
Very
Okay.
good.
We can get them all to come out here and join us in the field. We could burn them all right here.
Or if
Yeah.
we could get them all into the big tent and set the tent on fire, collapse it on top of them.
A lot of humans probably there too. Whereas
Well, not
the-
if there's a fire.
the mummers seem to run. I mean, they're collective. It's a beehive or ant
Yeah,
field
some sort
or
of
something.
colony. Yeah. I know that if it was Wilson in charge, he'd just kill them all the people in the whole place, and blow up the machine.
He is kind of the ruthless.
He's
type
kind of ruthless. Yeah, I noticed that years ago.
Yeah.
In
It's
Africa.
not a cat, obviously, either.
All right. Yeah, you're kind of talking. You do notice the crowd, Morris and Cartwright. You're inside. You can see people like going like, "Oh, there's a fire!" You're getting knocked around. The clown though is focused on you two, as the other three are kind of standing over these clutching, popping corpses. So what are Morris and Cartwright doing? It's just letting this thing keep going. It's walking away from the controls. It doesn't care.
So it's gonna walk towards us, right?
Mm-hmm.
We need to not kill all these people, Wilson. That's what.
Look
we
what you
need.
did, Cartwright. I'm gonna start limping away from the clown.
I cannot do another slow motion chase. So what's Cartwright doing?
I am. Who is it following if we start to move in different directions?
Oh, both of you do a luck roll.
Both of us? All right.
I failed. I did not spend all my luck
What's
in
your,
this. I
what's your
failed.
number? Yeah.
11. It goes after Cartwright.
Yeah, it goes after Cartwright. So Cartwright, you're pushing through the crowd and this thing's coming after you, but Morris, it's
I'm
not
free.
coming towards
All
you.
right, I'm going
You're
for
free.
the steam engine.
All right.
He doesn't go to the controls to stop it. No.
I
Just
did notice that.
goes for the kill.
Time is of the essence.
All right. Is there anything you want to do, Cartwright, as this thing's kind of
I'm
pushing the way
I'm
through the crowd?
I'm just gonna yell. The machine's gonna break. Everybody run for your line.
What? You hear voices on the machine going around, starting to panic. Both of you make a sanity test.
That's right, Wilson.
Oh,
You gotta listen to this. Oh my god.
It's still one.
I
It's still
failed.
on. I'm
I
at
failed.
35, San. At 34 now.
Do a D4. How have you? Oh my goodness!
This was my first San roll of the night.
I rolled a 1.
All right. You're feeling great, I guess.
It's Wilson. Wilson's.
All right. And then I will try to turn off the machine and let them go.
Oh, you're a kind
Yep.
person. You hear it start to slow down and go. The other three.
Get out of here, you stupid kids.
Thanks, mister. Yeah, there's like little orphans now. You would have killed a whole kindergarten. It would have been terrible. So they're running off. The three of you that are out in the field next to these burning ones, there's quite a few. Like the caravans are right there. The crowd is kind of coming up like, what? There's a fire and it's spreading kind of across the brush here.
There's brush. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was a grassy field. So it's not like whoosh all over the place, but it's enough that it's worrying. There's kerosene around.
Rather than just have been standing there while the clowns burned, I'm going to run for the ringmaster's manager's place. Obviously he's over there. I want to see if there's anything inside there.
Okay. Very good. You're running that way. What about the other two?
Now, if I see a clown, I'm running back the other direction.
You said you need to get to that meeting?
I have an appointment with McClellan at 8.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything I can fetch to hit someone with, like a heavy stick?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I grab something like that, and
for fun. It's one of those test your strength mallets.
Nice.
But yes, you absolutely can. All right, so you're going towards the fortune-telling tent, it sounds like.
But that's I have an appointment and I plan to keep it, whether I'm I want backup, certainly. I want assistance.
I'm going to join you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Then we will start with Eleazar. You get to the main caravan, kind of nicely done, and you open the door. You're familiar with it. The lights are on, and there are 3 bodies on the ground. Make a sand test.
Human bodies?
Yes, as you recognize the police officers that came this way, and all 3 of them have that clown mask on their face. And you can see the clown mask is kind of moving up and down a little bit.
Okay. I got a 10, so I passed my sanity roll.
Just 1. Yeah.
I'm going to when I realize what I'm seeing, I'm going to run up to each one of them and rip the fucking mask off their faces.
Woof, my goof.
Life, sorry.
Yeah. I'll let the last sanity roll pass, but you can clearly see that they are dead and they are being burrowed into basically where their face opens.
That's what I expected.
Nose, mouth, eyes. Yeah. It's real nasty to look at. But what interests you is there's kind of like a small curtained area towards the back of this, like you often do with caravans, and you can see that's pulled to the side. Back in that area, you see that there is a large tub just kind of sitting on the ground with like a covering on it. And then
like a bathing tub?
A little bit smaller than that, maybe about that by that.
Okay.
So I mean, a little bit bigger than a hat box, maybe. That's a good sort of thing.
Okay.
You also see that there is a safe and a small shrine that has what appears to be a obsidian idol of a maggot. And it kind of shimmers as you look at it, almost like it's crawling. Yeah, do a sanity test for that.
24, which is
probably good.
Still my sanity. Yeah, I'm fine.
All right, you're good then.
I'm going to come in there. I'm looking around. I'm gonna throw the cover off of the bowl on the floor, the hat box size bowl.
Yeah, it is filled to the brim with squirming maggots.
I'm going to kick it hard so that it splatters across the room.
Yeah, they just start crawling towards the 3 bodies on the floor.
I'm going to. I'm sure there are cloths and things inside here. It's the kind of place where the guy lives. I think I am going to grab that little idol, not with my bare hands, but I'm going to wrap it up in something and tuck it under my thing and see if there's any source of fire in the room.
Oh, there's lamps.
Is there a lantern burning?
Yeah.
I'm going to knock it over.
Gaslight. Yep.
I'm going to knock it over, and then I'm going to get out of the room as quickly as I can.
All right. You run out carrying this idol. Let's cut back to Morris and Cartwright before we get to the other thing. Morris, you've shut this down. You see it's kind of slowed to a stop, and the people are jumping off. No seatbelts. I mean, come on. Let's not be ridiculous. But they're hopping off. You can still see the steam engine behind it burning. What do you do?
I am going to tinker and set this thing to explode and cause a big fire.
All right, please make a
operate heavy
test.
Machinery.
Yep.
Yep.
All
right.
The most useful skill of all time.
Damn straight. I got a hard.
All right. Yeah. I mean, you're pulling gears. You're working it. You're setting it up where if it had a little dial, it's in the red. Like, this thing is gonna go, and you need to get out of there.
I'll start limping away.
10 feet away, and then it blows up. No. Cartwright, you're in a crowd of people kind of pushing around.
Lee, it's gonna go.
All right. People are inclined to believe you at this point with all the fire and whatnot. But do make a dodge or dex check. How'd it go?
The same way they've all gone.
Yeah, I figured. I shouldn't need to ask at this point. This time it's less of a grab at the ankle, but you just, in the middle of the crowd, you feel this hand hit your back and knock you to the ground. And this clown is over you, and it pulls off its mask. It's Giles, and it's trying to push it down towards you.
I'm trying to resist it as best as I can.
Are there any people around him helping him? Or...
they're not really paying attention. They're just kind of bumping around. But you were calling. Yeah, that's fair. Roll a luck roll.
Oh, hell! 37 is a pass.
You almost have this thing over your face, and you hear this scraunch. And you look up and you see the bearded lady, Renee, is standing over you with a plank. And she's like, I told you were in danger. She's helping you to your feet.
Why the hell do you spend time with these terrible things?
It's because we couldn't get away.
Well, now's your chance.
Yeah. She's
Run.
She's hoisting you, and you kind of pass. You see Martin and Perry. Sounds like you were going. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Is she like fireman carrying me?
If you want her to, yes.
I like that image so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just, go on, old man.
Tally ho and whatnot. Perry and Da Silva, you enter the fortune-telling tent, and there is a single lantern kind of set up in the middle, providing this light. You can see it reflecting through one of those globes in the middle. This doesn't look like it was fully put together yet. It's got a lot of crates and stuff just kind of stacked. If they weren't going to use it till the last day, it makes sense. And you do see McClelland in the tent. Looks like he's grabbing some things out of a chest there.
Does it sound like chaos without? Or
yes. Oh yes. That's why you don't need to roll stealth. It's too wild as he's just busy pulling things out of his chest. You
Yeah.
probably couldn't just, sneak up and hit him without a stealth check, but you've entered the area.
Given the pops and booms and cries, I'll just walk up and look over his shoulder and see what he's up to.
All right, you came. Oh, wonderful.
Special
Perry.
ticket after all.
Yes, excellent. Perry, are you trying to stay hidden or are you just there?
Yeah, I try to stay more in the background, yeah.
All right, roll a stealth test.
That is a success.
All right, he does not know you're there. Martin, he is addressing only you. Oh, all right, well, it won't be a complete loss then, I suppose. I knew you were trouble as soon as you started talking. Well, it's a good thing that we came to an understanding, isn't it?
Well, I thought it was very pleasant to meet you.
Yes.
And we did have, I think, an understanding. But why would I have been any trouble to you?
You're snooping. Everywhere I go, there's always people snooping. And you see he's pulled out this leather-bound tome. And you can read the title of it. It's De Padre Vermibus. And he walks to the table. Please take a seat. We don't have much time, it would appear.
No, indeed. Why did you pick on our friend Giles? If you hadn't bothered Giles, we would never have noticed you were here.
I know you said that, and I wrong place, wrong time. We usually grab a couple people, and it just seemed like an easy one to do. And he's starting to flip open the book.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid Yes, go ahead, please.
I'll lean back and light a cigarette. After all, Barks.
Yes, of course. And he starts to chant, and it's not a language that you know. Obviously, it sounds vaguely Mesoamerican in origin. As he starts to talk in, do either of you have any Latin skills of any kind?
Only law.
Martin would know something of Latin because of his.
Yeah.
Linguistically, pretty much nothing. But I do. I am aware that paper or books, even if they're not paper, are flammable. So I'm going to sort of threaten his book with my cigarette.
Yeah.
I do not want to hear what he's reading.
There is a look of surprise as he snatches the book back. His chant cuts off. Perry, you're kind of behind him. As he changes the words he starts to speak, he's pointing at Martin and he's starting to say something. Yeah, go ahead and make a brawl roll, Perry.
Do I get
with a bonus? Yeah, with a bonus. Yeah.
All right.
I might put my hand on my face too, because I've seen those masks.
And I needed that bonus die.
Oh no.
33 is a hit.
All right. Go ahead and roll damage. Kind of curious where this lands.
It's not going to kill him. Where's my d6 here? And that is 3 points of damage.
All right. You hit him in the back of the head. Just checking. All right. Martin, you're holding up your hand.
Yeah.
As he completes this, go ahead and make a power test. As I'm checking the...
17. Fantastic.
That's very good. And he rolled a 13. What's your POW? Pretty high.
It is about 75, yes. So 17 is not quite extreme.
But you do have more power. So you are. Oh no, yeah, he got an extreme. Do you want to spend luck? That is a good question. Our engineer's cheering on.
Oh yeah. Oh
That
yeah.
makes
If I
sense.
feel something peeling at my brain after having felt those worms trying to bite.
Yeah, what's funny is you don't feel so much appealing at your brain as appealing at your hand, as you can see it kind of wither as he's very clearly casting some sort of spell at you.
Yeah.
And I
How
would
much luck
like
should I spend?
just enough to get it down to an extreme.
Yeah, it's like okay,
Critical.
3 will do it actually.
Yeah, and that's all you need, because you have a higher power at that point then. And yeah, you're able to resist it. Morris, roll me a luck test, please. All right, you're still making your getaway
Yep.
as this bomb that you've created is gearing up behind you. Cartwright, is there anything you wish to do as you're getting hauled away? Otherwise, we'll cut back to the two in the tent.
I'll just be calling out, Morris, you crazy bastard.
Cartwright, you idiot!
All right. Wonderful. Yeah. You probably catch up a little bit. You just see the bearded lady hauling him. Martin and Perry, it is your turn. What would you like to do? Yeah. All right.
I spend 10 luck to make it a hit.
Very good. Roll some damage.
That is 3 again.
All right. That I rolled a contest. He went under half, and that is enough. You conk him and knock him out onto the ground.
That's an enormous relief. Should we shred this book before we burn it, or burn it before we shred it?
What did he do to you?
What he said made my body change. It's from this book. He is a monster. I don't know exactly how it works.
Well,
I don't think I'll be recovering. But if we can stop him from murdering, stealing, and making those things.
Okay, so I will take care of him. You take care of the book if you want to. I really don't know what to do with this. So, magic is not part of the law.
And you say magic is not part of the law. And all 5 of you now get to hear the sound of a contraption, steam engine, exploding. Cartwright, Morris, and Eleazar, you're outside at this point. You almost certainly get either knocked down if you're close enough, or almost deafened as parts fly all over the place. It's messy when a steam engine goes. Martin and Perry, you hear it. Like it ruffles the tent.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're hearing many more shouts of fire, fire, that sort of thing.
I suspect that might have been Morris. Would you, if you don't mind, Perry, under the circumstances, decapitating that thing? I'll feel better. And
he's still alive. Can't we take him in?
He did this to me by speaking. I don't think it's.
I look around. Is there anything in here? Because I only have a club.
There's a heavy crystal ball. If you want to take time, maybe there's something and do a search. Like, do a spot hidden or something. Yeah.
If you want him decapitated, get me a knife, and I'll get the crystal ball and use it as a bowling ball.
Yeah, you start with bludgeoning. I'll take the book, and I'll see if I can find you a good blade. Perhaps the bearded lady shaves her eyebrows.
Yeah. And that's about as, you're clunk, you're hearing this, that do a sand test, the two of you.
No,
No.
this will scar Perry forever.
94.
Roll a d6 as, you, for
1.
there's one final
bitter.
hit, and it just kind of cracks open the head, and you just start seeing these maggots crawl out. And we'll just say at this point, you do notice the tint's on fire from this, and the main tint's on fire, and there's a lot of fire all around. This is a very Delta Green sort of ending.
Have the clowns stopped moving, or?
They're watching you, in fact. They just, they looked like they were kind of coming your way, but then they just stopped a little bit before the explosion.
All right. I think that I don't know where anybody is, but there's explosions going on, and there's tents on fire and everything else. I'm going to head to the university.
Okay.
With
Very good.
The thing that I grabbed.
So let's kind of
I hope
transition from there.
They'll all meet up with me.
Well, let's transition from there to epilogues, as we kind of have a variety of situations. Perry with this bloody orb, Phillips with the idol tucked away and running away from these clowns that are just watching. Morris and Cartwright, you're in a crowd, just kind of pushed out of there. And Martin, you feel free now, but you're thinking, man, that guy had some weird sway. So let's talk maybe the next day. What's it look like for each of you? We'll leave Phillips for last because I'm interested with what happens there. Let's start with Morris.
Probably drinks with Cartwright because we're good friends, and then maybe a date with the bearded lady.
All right. We'll say she is there at drinks with you and Minnie and a few of the other folks from there. They are now out of a job. Very clearly, someone murdered their troop leader, ringmaster, whatever. But the whole place burnt down, so it's difficult to follow up on. Cartwright, what about you?
Oh, I was thinking about going back to India, and I think I'm going to do that. Get the hell away from this place.
They kind of nod in. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Detective Perry.
Well, I have a lot of paperwork to do and leads to follow up and reports to write. And apparently somebody murdered the cult leader. It's tragic that the fire destroyed all evidence.
Well, and it's bad because they actually found 3 other police officers there. So yeah, there's a bit of a confusion. So yes, lots of paperwork.
After I warned them that the troop is dangerous, so obviously
very dangerous.
Might be a promotion. Yeah. Yeah.
I like how Felix's mind is working. I could work a promotion. Martin.
Well, it was curious, this book that he left behind. It doesn't immediately make sense, but I think it bears study. Of course, I wouldn't use it for evil the way he did.
Right.
I shall be reading it carefully.
Yes, and it's easy enough once you're back in the library. You do know it's titled On the Father of Maggots. So, very good. And Eleazar, what are you doing?
Well, I offer the statue to the anthropology department
Ah,
for study at Cambridge. Because I work for the church, I have a rather nice stipend. Plus, I had a very nice home. My family came from money. So I decide to hire Minnie and Lizard Boy as assistants around the house. I I did kind of have my eye set on the bearded woman, but Wilson seems to have once again stolen that opportunity. So whatever. I can't help everybody, but perhaps we form an organization to assist people who are unfortunate, but no clowns.
wonderful. And I will leave it there as the idol works its way into the possession of Dr. or Professor Standing, who is very interested in its history.
Excellent.
All right. Any questions about what was going on? I suspect you've
Yes.
figured it out pretty well. As you might have expected, Mr. McClelland spent some time in South America, if you can believe it, when he was younger, and found some very interesting books and idols there that allowed him to control maggots. And he has been converting his little traveling troupe as of late into various clowns. But he kind of ran out of acrobats and people that fit the right size. So he kept his freak show. He couldn't really convert them over and have them be believable. So he just started grabbing drifters. And unfortunately, your good friend just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, the good news is, of course, that I've always thought Annie was kind of attractive. So
Yeah, she's single.
she finds herself available.
Who, Annie?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Annie.
We are the worst friends ever.
So
Gives
what
you that
is
impression.
what? Why was the corpse from Stilton only flesh and bone?
It is purely a matter of time. Stilton was about a month ago. So by that time, the maggots had their fill and moved out. Traditionally, what would happen is old bodies would go out, collapse, they'd go and pupate the maggots from within, and then the clowns would collect the mask and uniform for reuse later.
So Detective Perry picked up a handful of those things.
Yes, they they had a mind of their own, perhaps.
Let me go ahead and finish up. Our players included Alex Sun, Jan Schlegel, Morgan Llewellyn, David Gasaway, and myself, with Nathan Decker as the keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members, you can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows, and leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Thom, Raley, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.